If it's Thursday, that means it's the Thursday Night Thunder Series. Welcome, everybody. I'm Ellis Thomas alongside Chris Smith in the Slingshot Racing Media booth tonight. We're bringing you live racing action from race number 4 in the Gen 4 Arca cars of the TNT Series tonight from Richmond Raceway. Richmond, a racing haven since 1946, has a rich history rooted in the post-World War II era. Starting as a half-mile dirt track, it's transformed into a thrilling three-quarter-mile oval, earning the titles of both America's longest short track and its shortest superspeedway. Virginia's racing tradition dates back to colonial English times, with the Deep Run Hunt Club hosting horse races. And then in 1946, the AAA Championship car season kick-started at the newly built Strawberry Hill Raceway. Over the years, Richmond became a vital part of NASCAR, evolving from dirt to pavement in 1968 and then redesigning itself into its iconic D-shaped configuration in 1998. And then in 1999, a pivotal change occurred when the venue was rebranded from Richmond Fairgrounds to Richmond International Raceway. Today, it hosts a modern $30 million infield and 55,000 seats. Richmond's a rocket-fast challenge to every driver who competes on this three-quarter-mile oval. Racers from NASCAR, IndyCar, and USAC have found that Richmond requires both power and handling. To win here, you've got to have it all, simply put. Chris, fun fact for the night. In the inaugural NASCAR race here at Richmond, Richard Petty won by lapping the entire field. While I don't think we'll see that kind of dominance tonight, what are drivers going to have to do to stay out of trouble and carry that same kind of speed along with the precision that Petty had back in 1953?
Well, Ellis, I think you hit on it in the intro right there. What a unique track this is. For short track late model racers, this is one of the biggest tracks that they'll race on. Some of them might even consider it like a super speedway, like you said. But for NASCAR stock car drivers, NASCAR Cup Series drivers, Xfinity and Truck Series drivers, this is a short track, one of the smaller tracks they race at 3/4 of a mile. It's going to be a challenge tonight. You know, not many lanes to race on here. The groove, pretty narrows up off the corners. We're going to get into that a little bit later on in our stories, but expect the drivers to be able to go about 122 laps on a tank of fuel, so I don't expect us to see any green flag pit stops at all. You're going to pit when the cautions come out and when you need those fresh tires, and maybe when you don't want to sacrifice track position. 225 laps, so this is going to be a bit of a marathon tonight for this 18-car field. We'll see how they handle it tonight.
And we're going to be following a lot of stories, including how those drivers are going to last over the 225 laps we have set up for the evening. But before we get to any of that, it's time for everyone's Slingshot fan favorite pre-race tradition, the playing of the national anthem. So everyone, if able, rise and remove your caps. We'll be back on the other end of the Star Spangled Banner. All right, back here from the virtual Richmond Raceway, getting geared up for race number 4 of the TNT Series. We love to set the race up for the viewers at home. If you're joining us, we're very grateful for you tuning in tonight. We hope we're going to bring a great race. I have no doubt it'll be full of excitement. Connor, hi in the chat. Thanks for joining us once again. Glad to have you here. We love to share stories and we love to set things up. First thing we're going to talk about, Chris, after 3 races, there was a bit of a shakeup in the points last week. Aaron Smith is still on top of those point standings, but Levi Cox is closing in just a little bit. Justin Clapper, Greg Shepsis, and Brandon Roberts rounding out the top 5. Man, that race for 5th through about 10th, though, Chris, separated by 5 points. That is about as tight as you can get. If you're the top 5, if you're outside of the top 5, rather, I should say, what are you looking to do tonight if you're going to try to make up some ground on anyone in the top 5? What do you have to do out there?
Well, short track racing is all about keeping your nose clean, especially if you're looking to gain points. And with the points being as tight as they are right here, you know, some of your competitors could run into some trouble tonight. So, you know, just keeping the fenders on it, you don't necessarily have to be the fastest guy out here on pace to be able to gain a lot of points. It's just about survival. If you do survive all 225 laps, you might find yourself maybe 5-6 spots higher in the points, just looking how close it is, 5th through 10th there.
So surviving the chaos of the short track, which leads us into our set of 4 stories to follow tonight. Things we'll be checking in on and seeing throughout the race. The first one is, it's the first short track of the season. We've already touched on this just a little bit, Chris, but this is going to be a different style of racing that these drivers are going to have to adjust to quickly if they're going to make it and survive the night. What is in your head if you're going in the first short track of the season besides surviving? How does your approach change from that actual driver's seat?
Well, you know, short tracks is a lot of it is about finesse. On a mile-and-a-half track, especially in some of these vehicles, these NASCAR vehicles, you just kind of like let it all hang out. But here, I don't think that's really the case. You haven't been on the brake as much this season, and this is our first real test of maybe using that left foot if you're a left foot braker. So, it's just a completely different style, a completely different technique that you're going to be doing. I think that you're also going to learn a lot about your competitors tonight as well. Sometimes short tracks bring out that temper which we'll get to later on.
And oftentimes what's going to lead to those tempers, cautions. And what we've seen all season is we've had a lot of green flag racing, but when we have cautions, they breed other cautions because in part these cars are bunched up together. And with the possibility of a lot of cautions and restarts tonight, I think we're probably in store for a good amount of chaos. So when we talk about just making it through the night, making it through those restarts and not being the cause for the caution is going to be something that every driver out on the track is aiming to do. And what's going to potentially facilitate some of those cautions is it can be difficult to pass here at Richmond. You've really got to, as you mentioned, Chris, bring that finesse on the throttle and the brake, and you got to pass when you can. How are drivers going to really be attempting those passes tonight based on what we've seen in practice?
I think that you might see some late arches, maybe to some later apexes to some of these corners to maybe sort of get that run up off the corner. You don't really pass people getting into the corners here at Richmond. You pass people coming up off the corners. And coming off of both turns 2 and turn 4 is very different. You got to sort of tackle both ends of the track differently. Turn 2 kind of narrows up off the corner, whereas turn 4 it's a little bit more sweeping out towards the wall. The cars tend to get a little bit free on next to the turn 4. So, I think that we'll see some drivers play around with the lines, maybe how late they wait to apex. You don't really gain any advantage from running up the track like really, really high here. Unless maybe a little bit later in the run, which we'll have to keep an eye on that because it's been a while since I was in these cars on this track.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing a lot of new stuff out here tonight just from the variety of racing we've seen so far for the TNT series. And you mentioned it. You got to keep your tempers in check. This is going to be a track where there could be beating and banging. You might get turned around. Might get knocked a little bit sideways. And trust me, this is coming from a driver. You've heard me on the radio, Chris, when we've been in races driving together. I can lose my cool sometimes, and I have really the habit of losing my focus. Why can't drivers afford to do that tonight? How do you lock in?
It's difficult, especially, running as close as you have to run here on this short track and any other short track as well. It's just about not trying to take everything too personal. Some drivers, this is their wheelhouse, but, for a lot of drivers, this is something that's sort of out of their comfort zone. And so, if a driver sort of doesn't doesn't leave you a lot of room or maybe runs you a little bit tight up off the corner or on corner entry, try not to take it personal. Just realize that, everybody's kind of doing the best that they can out there. Cars might get a little bit loose, get a little bit tight, corner entry, corner exit, and, just try to take it with a grain of salt and realize that there's 225 laps here tonight. You got some time to recover.
And those laps will likely go by fast. We're very used to seeing green flag racing. We're going to have probably 17 or 18 cars to start the grid. That's one of the higher fields we've had. So we'll be keeping an eye on the traffic here at Richmond with just about 30 seconds left in practice, Chris. This is, as we've been mentioning, it's the first short track of the season. We don't really know what to expect from these drivers. Right now, Gregory Shepsis is running some of the fastest laps during qualifying out there currently on the provisional pole. We'll see if that holds up in the final 19 seconds. But he's a driver that we've seen have some good runs this season, but certainly hasn't been on the pole. He finished third at Miami last week. Before that, finished 12th at Vegas after some trouble. But this is a driver that we could really potentially see entering into the championship hunt with a good start and a good finish tonight. So a lot on the line here at Richmond. The points are bound to have a shakeup in store by the end of the evening. It is going to be a wild night on the short track at Richmond. We're going to gear up for that right now by taking a look at the starting grid for tonight's 227 lap marathon at Richmond. And you got it right, or I got it right, I should say. Gregory Shepsis is on the pole in that white number 27. Going to be starting on the inside of row 1. To his outside, it's going to be Levi Cox in the number 1. Aaron Smith, your points leader, going to be starting inside of row 2, coming from third tonight. Got a little bit of work ahead of him. Jacob Chase ran 2 weeks ago at Vegas, wasn't at Miami, but he's going to be starting fourth tonight. Glenn Grimm, great qualifying effort for Glenn starting 5th in that 08 car. Joshua Kerner starting 6th, dropped out of the top 10 in points last week, looking to rebound this week, going to come from row number 3. Chase Leahy starting 7th in the 34. He's had speed, but not necessarily the finishes to show for it. He's going to be looking to correct that tonight after a 17th and 10th place finish in the last 2 weeks. Steven Lashinsky in that Monster Jam car, going to be starting 8th from the 99 car. Anthony Burleson starting to the inside of row number 5, 9th tonight. Mike Weber, newcomer for the TNT Series, is going to be starting on the outside of row number 5, coming from 10th tonight. He's got his work cut out for him. David Reichman, Chris, if there's the unluckiest driver on the track carrying the unlucky horseshoe around, it's got to be David Reichman in that 6th. Good qualifying effort for David. He's going to be looking to come from 11th tonight. Chris Blassie starting 12th. Tyler Truex has had speed the past several weeks, but doesn't necessarily have the finishes to show for it. Finished 5th last week after leading a large number of laps. He's starting 13th. Nicholas Tomlinson, first start this season, starting 15th in that 33. Greg Veal starting 16th. Dan Berg, Jacob Chase's teammate, starting 17th. 18th is Ricky Mandela Sr. making his first start of the season. And then Michael Benton going to be starting 19th tonight. Almost 20 cars starting on that grid this evening, and they're going to have about a lap to get those tires warmed up and those seat belts tight. Chris, it's the last minute before we get going. How do you get in the zone as a driver? Just, for fans who might not understand, these aren't real race cars. They're virtual race cars, but a lot of the same skills and mentality are going to come into play here.
Yeah, I think that, on the initial start right here, it's all about trying to hit all your gears, be nice and smooth. Don't miss a shift. Don't spin your tires. And then after that, on cold tires this first lap, I'm already thinking ahead to turns 1 and 2. What do I got to do to not self-spin in front of this whole field right here on these cold tires? It's definitely an easy mistake to have occur here on the opening lap.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's every driver's worst fear. It's been a couple of minutes since you've ran those qualifying laps. You're still kind of, you're on those just brand new sticker fresh tires. You're not necessarily sure how that car is going to handle, even just behind other cars, right? Because a lot of drivers might not have a lot of practice laps behind and in front of other cars. The aerodynamics can change a little bit, and that car very well might handle a little bit differently on this first couple of laps than it did in practice. Hey, in the chat, a couple people chiming in. Joshua Kerner says the track is loose tonight. So some driver insight from Kerner, that driver starting in the 6th position. Hopefully not too loose, Josh. Keep that thing in one piece. Connor Lyons also asking, what lap do we think the first caution is going to come out? Connor, we have a rule. You can't ask that. You say lap 23. If you're in the chat, let us know what you think. Right now, we're going green, though. It's going to be clean and green, hopefully, for the first couple of laps. Greg Shepsis leads him down. The flagman brings out the green. It's Shepsis and Cox side by side, crossing the start-finish line, headed down into turn 1. Aaron Smith draws a bead on the back bumper of Shepsis. That car started 3rd. He's looking for the lead. 1 lap now, less than 1 lap in. He's on the inside. Shepsis slides up about 3 lanes to the outside, arcs it down.
Oh, we got a car
He's going to fight.
Ellis.
Caution is out. Turn 4 was the scene of the crime there. I believe, Chris, it might have been Nicholas Tomlinson in the number 33. We're going to check the replay, and we're going to see exactly what brought us under caution here on lap number 1. I think it started before him, though.
Yeah, I think that it started with the number 6 right here, David Reichman. Looked like he charged turn 3 a little bit too hard, got on the binders right there. It's like everybody missed him. We saw Nicholas Tomlinson spinning around to the inside right there. We'll go back and actually ride on board with Tomlinson to show you what he saw. So this is looking out the dash of the 33 machine right here, going out of the backstretch, entering turn 3. You can see Reichman up ahead. Yeah, he just charges in a little bit too hard, gets the car sideways, and yeah, it looks like Reichman locked up the rear brakes, just spun it out to try to avoid the 6 car, and no harm, no foul.
Yeah, I think Tyler Truex might have gotten a little bit of that, but I think he is okay in that number 69 car. Maybe just grazed the right rear of the number 6 of David Reichman. But regardless, it's going to put us under the caution for the first time tonight, Chris. This is kind of what we were hypothesizing about. I think that's the right word. In pre-race, you got to be careful first couple of laps. Those tires are still coming up to pressure. It's a loose racetrack. We heard from Josh Kerner in the pre-race, and I don't think we're going to see anyone come down pit road. This will most likely be a pretty quick yellow, but the big development other than that caution probably was Aaron Smith, Chris, quickly grabbing second position and even showing that he wanted the lead there on lap 2. He's going to have to settle for second as we prepare for the restart in a couple of laps, but it's Shepsis, Smith, Cox, Chase, and Grimm. And hey, I think right now might be a good opportunity to check to see if we've got Aaron Smith's heart rate running. We were having some technical difficulties with that in the pre-race, but maybe see if we can get... Oh, yeah, all right. So this is something we've been trying to closely monitor all season, was Aaron Smith's pulse. He's rigged up with a heart rate monitor that's sending live feedback to our studio, and you can see right now that thing continues to climb just a little bit as we prepare for the restart, and we think the baseline for Aaron is somewhere around the 85, maybe 90 mark. We're not quite sure, but we've been keeping a close eye on that all season. We'll do the same tonight. And that shows you that this is no cakewalk. This is no easy peasy lemon squeezy, even though that's a yellow car. Aaron is getting the heart rate up, and we'll see that probably climb at least a little bit more tonight. They're gridded up for a double file restart here. Cars headed down into the turn 1 and 2 complex. Hopefully, drivers have kind of had a moment to catch their breath. The pre-race jitters are out. We've kind of got a few laps under our belt. It's going to be a restart at lap number 6. And hey, Connor, you were wrong about when that yellow was going to come out. You said lap 23. You were about 20 laps late on that one. So pace car going to pull off for the second time tonight. It's going to be our first restart. Shepsis is the control car. He's going to hit that blue Geico restart zone. He goes to the halfway mark, gets a nice little jump on Aaron Smith. It's going to open the door for Levi Cox to jump down to the inside as they hit turn 1 for the 6th time this evening.
Yeah, Shepsis is going to make quick work of Aaron Smith right there. Smith going to look to maybe get back down low right here. Yeah, he's going to get in front of the one of Levi Cox. See if he can maybe chase down Gregory Shepsis here.
And you can see two different lines. Shepsis really running one lane up the track. Aaron Smith wrapping that bottom as close to that yellow line as he can. He's going to take that and work himself down into turn number 1. To the inside goes the yellow car of Aaron Smith. The number 70 looking for the lead for the first time this evening. That's your points leader inside the 27 of Gregory Shepsis. Meanwhile, Levi Cox and Jacob Chase have a little scrum of their own going back there. Just about 3 car lengths separate Jacob Chase from the back bumper of Levi Cox, so he's looking to get by, but the battle for the lead continues. Shepsis hounds that right side of Aaron Smith. This has been a side-by-side battle for the past couple of laps. They head down into turn 3. Shepsis working that outside. I don't think he's going to carry the speed off. He does carry the speed off to make another push for the lead. Chris, what kind of work does that do to the tires, or what kind of wear does that do to the tires running that outside line like this early?
Well, yeah, I think it is going to wear the right front out a little bit quicker. Just being up there and running up there, and for a lot of laps in a row. But I'm not really sure. My experience here at Richmond has mostly been in like Xfinity cars and in trucks, and sometimes you see those vehicles migrate up high as the run goes on, as people get a little bit tight, as their tires start to give up on them. But, Shepsis is making it work pretty good right there early on. As it's like we got a battle going on right here for 5th spot. Oh, that's close between Grimm and Lashinsky.
And Grimm. This is, as you mentioned, a battle right now for the 5th spot. It's Grimm's. Lashinsky wants it on the inside. 2 different approaches to these corners. And boy, this is a dogfight. Down into turn 1 they go. It's still side by side. Lashinsky's car looks loose, backing up what we heard from some of the drivers in pre-race.
Yeah, you see right there, Grimm is definitely driving in a little bit deeper. Oh, he gets loose off the corner there.
Loose off the corner. Grimm has to drive it down to the inside. It's going to open up the outside now for Steve Lashinsky. Oh, car loose further back. I think he gathers it up. That was the number 13 of Mike Weber here in his first race tonight. He gathers it back up. We're still under green flag conditions, but it's given the opportunity for Lashinsky to drive a little bit further away from Glenn Grimm in that 06. Now Grimm's got Tyler Truex breathing down his neck as Truex in that black and white 69 to the inside almost slides up into the door of Glenn Grimm Mobile, and now Grimm's got Kerner, Joshua Kerner that is, to worry about. This is the battle for now the 7th position. Chris, Glenn Grimm, after starting in the 5th position tonight, falling back a couple spots early on, feeling out that race car, still trying to get his short track legs in our first short track race of the season. Great little battle going on behind them is Chase Leahy and Aaron Burleson. This is a battle for the 10th position. It's going to need Leahy on the outside, giving up that spot to Burleson, and boy, Burleson took a big old hit from Greg Veal in that 26 a moment ago.
Yeah, Anthony Burleson right here rolling pretty smooth right here on the bottom, but yeah, he's got Greg Veal for company. Looks like Veal is maybe opening it up a little bit right there on corner entry, running a little bit higher on corner entry than Burleson. Maybe Anthony Burleson really wants to be on the bottom because it seems like he's sort of shading down there a little bit on the straightaways.
Yeah, I think he wants to get down on that bottom slot. That's been a popular spot for drivers, but some drivers have been making it work on the outside. Meanwhile, back up front, it's Aaron Smith. He's got about a 4-car length lead on the second-place car, Gregory Shepsis. You have to look about 8 car lengths back to find third-place Levi Cox, Chris, and Levi Cox has been one of these drivers. Second and third, if there's going to be a driver that really gives Aaron Smith a run for his money, at least in this first half of the season, it feels like it's going to be Levi Cox, who's just kind of been step in step with Aaron Smith in those first 3 races of the season. The difference is Aaron Smith has 2 wins, Levi Cox has 0, but he's looking to get that first one tonight. He's running fast laps on the track right now in third.
Yeah, got a little bit different look on that one machine this week right here. We're normally seeing that car with some black sheet metal, but he's going with the white look tonight. I think he's sort of doing a reverse paint scheme for it being a short track night race here, and he's looking really good right now. And I think he's just doing what he does every single week, just trying to maintain pace right here. And he's a long run thinking driver.
Yeah, definitely a long run thinking driver. He started in the 2nd position, falling back, but as you mentioned, saving those tires. Man, that is a good-looking paint scheme. There's something about a white paint scheme under the lights. I think the best one I've ever seen, and maybe you remember this one, and anyone watching at home, let us know if you remember this one. Back in, I think, 2004 maybe, the Great Clips 38 paint scheme. I think maybe Jason Leffler was driving it at that time, had the red flames. It was normally a black paint scheme, but they switched it to white under the lights, and similar kind of effect that the lights just sparkle off the top of that race car.
Yeah, that's
hey,
good
Rocky
looking ride.
Gordon, thanks for subscribing, by the way. I'm just looking through the chat right now. Glock Lesnar says, Chase is my Pookie Bear. Is that Jacob Chase or Chase Berry? I'm not sure which one, but says number 5 makes me jive. That's definitely Jacob Chase. So we've got some Chase fans in the chat right now. Jacob Chase doing battle with Tyler Truex. Chase started in the 4th position, kind of holding station, but Truex wants to have something to say about that. Truex looking to climb through the field. He started 13th tonight, up 9 positions now, going for 10 positions, looking for 3rd. Tyler Truex with that short run speed tonight here at Richmond, making it look easy in that 69. Car in the wall. That was the number
29. I think that's
29.
Michael Benton.
Yeah, Michael Benton. We're going to stay under green flag conditions. He tries to keep it up at the top of the track, maybe to get it pit road here in a moment. He's going to collect it, continue driving it around. I'm going to see if I can find out what happened to that number 29 and Michael Benton right in front of the leaders.
We're going back and looking at it. Yeah, we're going back and looking at Ellis, and it just looked like he was pushing up from the center of the corner, just feeding it a little bit too much gas right there early on. Looks like he's already collected a lot of damage here on that 29 machine, so car's probably not driving very well at this point.
Not very well at all, but one car that is driving well, Chris, back in 7th place, Greg Veal. Started in the 15th position. He's going for 6. He's got a bead on Steven Lashinsky here, the Monster Jam car. It's going to be Veal up at the top in that Caterpillar number 26 car. He's one of those drivers who has not been afraid to take it up the track, and you can see the advantage that outside line carries off the corner.
Yeah, he's trying to poke to the right rear of that 99 if he can get there right, Yeah, and you see Steve Lashinsky right there, heads-up driver. Sometimes you can really catch a driver out right there, and maybe somebody will just slide on out right there on corner exit, trying to take their normal racing line. But he was real heads-up right there, and gave him the space right there on corner exit. Oh, he kind of missed the bottom right there. And Veal sideways.
Veal sideways, hangs on to it. What a save off the corner, Chris. You called it as it was happening, but that is what we talk about when we talk about just how difficult it can be to pass at a short track like Richmond.
Yeah, you saw Leszczynski, he missed the bottom a little bit, and, you know, I wouldn't say that he did it on purpose, but sometimes you can do that on purpose to, you know, maybe run that driver up out of the groove a little bit. It's not dirty or anything. That's just short track racing. But he also could have got a little bit tight right there in the center of the corner, pushed up, and, yeah, you saw, you know, there's really one fast lane around here. There's, you know, you can run up into other lanes, maybe run up a little bit high to get a run, but I think there's one really fast lane, and that's right around the bottom.
Right around the bottom has been the place to be tonight. Chris Blassie making that bottom roll pretty good, back in the 11th position, now 10th under Chase Leahy. Blassie started back in the 12th position, worked his way up to 10th. Not someone we necessarily know for being a short track racer, but we've seen a lot of speed out of that 15 car this season so far. Chris Blassie doing a great job. He's won a couple of restrictor plate races, but that driver out of Kentucky is doing pretty good, even though super speedway racing is his bread and butter and his passion, he says.
Yeah, he's looking pretty good here tonight. Moved up here into the top 10, keeping the nose clean on that number 15 Chevy. And, yeah, we'll see right here if he can keep on rolling forward here. He's looking real smooth right now.
That's about four to six car lengths separating him from the back bumper of Anthony Burleson in that 79. Kind of having a quiet night for Anthony in the 79. Started ninth. He's holding station in ninth in that red and black number 79. And that's just kind of where you want to be. He's found his rhythm, and he's just kind of locked in. And at this point in the race, now lap 31 of a 225-lap race, locking in is where you want to be. You don't necessarily want to be racing next to drivers, try to pass drivers if you're comfortable where you are this early in the race. There'll be time for it. Hazard 2319, thank you for subscribing as well. And hey, we've got some fans subscribing right now. Chris, part of the reason why they might be subscribing is because we've got a free giveaway for a 1/24th scale autographed Dale Earnhardt Jr. Oreo paint scheme that we're going to be giving away at the end of this season. All you have to do is click that link in the chat, pinned at the top, or in our video description, enter, and make sure you're subscribed to our channel. And Chris, I know it's not that new Budweiser late model that Dale Jr. is going to be racing in Florence, South Carolina here in a few weeks, but this is definitely one of my favorite paint schemes. And let us know if you're watching what you think about that new Dale Earnhardt Jr. Budweiser partnership kind of being renewed and rejuvenated after, man, it feels like it's been a 20-year hiatus between those two.
It's almost been 20 years, Ellis. That makes me feel really old. But, yeah, it's been a long time. And, man, I suppose that it was all just a pipe dream for a while. When we heard that the rights might be going back for that stylized 8 to Dale Jr., it's like, surely, you know, they'll find a way to mess it up, you know, and Teresa will want it back and whatever, you know, but hey, he's got it, and they're making it happen. So, man, I know a lot of fans are really excited about that.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited. I already ordered my T-shirt before they sold out. So,
wow.
Every late model Dale Earnhardt Jr. runs, I try to get one of those special paint scheme T-shirts. Is just a fan. So, cool stuff happening for sure. But right now, some cool stuff happening on the racetrack, man. We've been talking about Greg Veal. That is consistently the fastest race car on the track. The past 5 laps, he's outpaced first, second, third, and fourth position in front of him, Chris. Greg Veal's got some long run speed. I'm starting to see some of those top 5, top 6 drivers fade a little bit. Leszczynski, who he just got by, is really loose, and he's not the only driver I've seen out there really loose tonight. But yeah, Greg Veal, Chris, doing a great job out on the track so far. That driver out of New Jersey having a good run, one of his better runs of the season. Veal finished 17th in Vegas. It's his only start of the season 2 weeks ago. Got a crash on lap 120, I think, and just not a great night. Looking to rebound, and we're going to probably get a better impression of what this driver's capable of.
Yeah, I think that, yeah, he's looking really good here early on. Another thing that we got to keep in mind is that, you know, we say long run here. I don't think that we've quite reached it yet. You know, 120 laps on a tank of fuel. I don't think they're going to go 120 laps, but, you know, short track racing, you can go quite a while on a tank of fuel. So I'm going to be looking about the lap 50, lap 60 mark to see maybe who is still moving forward and maybe who has started to slip back to try to see maybe who is good on the long run. And, you know, Greg Veal is certainly showing a lot of pace right now, though, and, you know, looking to make up for that maybe from some of that tough luck at Las Vegas.
Off to a good start tonight is Veal in that number 26. Chris, you mentioned dropping back. Let's drop back to 9th position right now. Joshua Kerner really struggling, dropping through the field after starting in the 6th position. He's being hounded by Chris Blassie, who we brought up earlier on in the broadcast, but I can see that he is just having to get off the throttle and on the brake a lot sooner than drivers like Burleson in front of him and Blassie behind him. I'm curious if we can ride on Blassie as he tries to make this pass. We might be a little bit late for that, though.
He's going to dive to the inside right here, but I bet you'll see Joshua Kerner here on the outside right here on corner exit. Look at that run that Kerner gets up off the corner. That is just the momentum of the top lane right here. And, you know, we talked about there's really only one fast lane, but you can still definitely hold a guy off here for a long time at Richmond just by utilizing that top lane. And he is, as I think Chris Blassie maybe overdrove a little bit right there. He's still going to get a pretty decent run right here in the center of the corner, but Joshua Kerner looking to use that top lane to sort of hold off that 15 of Blassie.
Yeah, we'll just pause here for a moment and do a little bit of a ride along. Listen what these drivers are kind of seeing and hearing as they drive through these corners in these loud, older generation stock cars. Caution is out on the speedway. Multi-car collision. Ricky Mandella in the 26, Chris. We had just mentioned Greg Veal. That was a lap car getting together with Greg Veal, who was trying to make the pass on that lap car to put him a lap down, and it looked like Mandella went up the track and just came down on exit, and that collects the number 1 of Levi Cox. Got some damage on that one as well.
Yeah, we'll go back and we'll watch this from overhead. And yeah, you'll see right here the 26 approaching the 28. This is one of the things that we talked about in the pre-race, It's just, yeah, it looks like, yeah, the 28's just not quite opening up the wheel right there on corner exit. Nothing intentional, but yeah, Veal was expecting Mandella to go out towards the wall right there, and Mandella did not. Unfortunately for Levi Cox, he was caught up in that. We'll actually go back again right here with the number 1. We'll ride on board with Levi Cox to show you what he saw as these two got together in front of him. This will be a great perspective as this crash occurred. Watch right there. Yeah, look at the 28. He just overdrove corner entry a little bit, slid up the track right there. He's got a lot of wheel into it right here, turning to the left, and unfortunately just comes off the wall into Veal. Levi Cox nowhere to go. Those two drivers are going to spin around.
And while we were catching up on the replay, cars came down pit road, no major changes. 4 fresh tires. Aaron Smith comes off in the lead. Gregory Sheps is second. Tyler Truex third. That is how they came down, along with Levi Cox in fourth. Lashinsky rolls off fifth. The position I believe he gained was from Veal, who had just passed him a couple of laps before. Driver's going to be glad to get fresh tires here on lap 45 of 225. It's going to be a great opportunity for us to step away from for just a moment, hear from the partners who helped make the TNT series possible, and that is Sim Wrap Market. We'll be back on their other end of this break. You're not going to miss a moment at Green Flag Racing. All right, you're looking live at the Richmond Raceway here in Richmond, Virginia. Lap 47, second caution of the night. This one for a 2-car spin off of turn number 4. Aaron Smith is scored as your leader. Gregory Sheps is second. Tyler Truex third. Levi Cox fourth. Stephen Lashinsky rounding out the top 5. couple cars going around the pace car. They're going to take the wave around, and we're going to be about a lap away from a restart, just under a quarter of the way here tonight. Jacob Chase Superfan has entered the chat. He says the Pookie Bear is going to win the race. We got a Jacob Chase fan club going on this evening, and right now they'll be glad to hear that he is currently running in the 6th position. So good night for Chase. Although starting in the 4th position, he's going to have his work cut out for him if he's going to get back up to the top 2 or 3. Right now, it's going to be Aaron Smith who's the control car. Gregory Shepsis is going to be second. Pace car is going to pull off. Smith's going to wait for that Geico restart zone to mash the throttle. He does it about 3/4 of the way through. We're back green flag racing for the 3rd time tonight. Smith clearly out in front by about 2 to 3 car lengths. Shepsis climbs the banking up to the top of the turn 1. He's got Tyler Truex and Levi Cox right behind him. Truex kind of a sitting duck on the inside there, takes it easy off the corner. They jump back to single file. It's Smith, Shepsis, Cox, who's now got a mirror full of Truex, looking for the 3rd position. That battle is heated up once again.
Oh, we got
single
spin.
file. Caution number 3 on the speedway tonight. It's the 33 car. That is Nicholas Tomlinson. I believe that is the second time tonight for that 33, and his first start of the season. Not going the way he would like in that Enterprise rent-a-car number 33. By the time this night is over, I think multiple drivers might have to rent a car, Chris.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, we'll go back and see. Yeah, we caught it where he's already turned around backwards right here. Yeah, so this is fresh tires, but I don't think it was tires here. I think there was a little bit of contact. No, there was not contact. I almost called it contact, but yeah, there was no contact between the 33 and the 13. Yeah, so Tomlinson does a nice job right here. He gets loose off of turn 4, and he starts to spin to the right here, and I think he realizes that he's going to get himself into trouble, going to spin back in front of the field, so he pulls the wheel back to the left right there to keep from overcorrecting back in front of the field. Good heads-up move by the driver of the 33.
No harm, no foul. Puts us under caution for the 3rd time tonight. Running order really hadn't changed at that point. I will say this, Tyler Truex, I think might have lost a spot on that restart. Your top 5, Smith, Shepsis, Cox, Truex, and Lashinsky as Jacob Chase in 6th. Anthony Burleson up to 7th after a 9th place start tonight. Chris Blassie has climbed his way to the 8th position. Joshua Kerner in 9th is Chase Leahy in 10th. And then Greg Veal, who we saw involved in the caution right before this one, has climbed his way back up to the 11th position. Drivers, we mentioned it, Chris, cautions breed cautions. That caution came just a few laps after that restart. Nicholas Tomlinson kind of fell victim to what we're talking about. Those cold tires, the car's not handling the way that you've kind of anticipated or been used to driving it for the last little while, and it put us under caution for the 3rd time tonight. If you're a crew chief, what are you telling your driver right now, just about a quarter of the way, a little bit under through this race?
There's a long way to go, and as we ride on board with Tomlinson right here as he spins off of turn 4, there's a long way to go right here. Definitely can't win the race right now, but you certainly can lose it. Fortunately for Nicholas, he has not lost the race right here. He has no damage on that vehicle at all, so he's going to get back out there. But yeah, I'm just preaching patience right now. Long ways to go. Don't want to tear our car up. We've seen how poorly cars can handle once they do get tore up, so we want to keep all the fenders on it at this point.
We definitely want to keep those fenders on it right now. The top 5, pretty clean fenders, Tyler Truex and Levi Cox. Maybe a little scuffs on the front end of those cars. They've had a bit of excitement tonight, being involved in a couple of incidents, just kind of innocent bystanders coming through those. Cox and Truex lucky to be where they are, kind of showing off that skill to avoid any sort of major catastrophe. We've got a couple more laps before this restart. I'm wondering if we might be able to pull Aaron Smith into the booth for just a moment and get his take on what's going on here. Are you good to try that?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. Hey, Aaron Smith, it's Ellis and Chris in the booth. You got 30 seconds to chat?
Yeah, I've got you.
How's it feeling out there so far? A couple drivers really experiencing loose race cars. What's it like up front?
Car feels pretty neutral up here. All my tires were pretty even on the first set there. I think my worst was the right front at 91, but every other tire was within 1% on each side. Like the lefts were 98, 97, rights were 91, 92, so I think I'm doing pretty well so far.
Yeah, man. Good to hear from you. Good luck out there. We'll let you get ready for this restart. Thanks for joining us.
Appreciate it.
All right, so you heard it there. Tire management, Aaron Smith seems to be doing a pretty good job, hence why he's probably running up front right now on lap number 50. Sorry, I lost my timing screen. Lap number 55 tonight. Drivers lining up for a double file restart. Just to explain it to the fans at home who aren't familiar with these restarts, the inside car right now, Aaron Smith is the leader, therefore he's the control car. NASCAR has a restart zone, and iRacing, it's highlighted in blue. It's the Geico restart zone, and it's on him to basically get the race going whenever he feels like it, as long as he's within that restart zone. We saw him go at about the halfway mark last time. I'm curious to see what he does this time. Pace car is going to peel off. They're going to hit that Geico restart zone a little bit earlier this time for Aaron Smith. He's going to jump away from Shepsis and Levi Cox. He's going to leave them to deal with Truex and Lashinsky. Your top five is Jacob Chase to the outside of Anthony Burleson right behind them. Great little battle going on for second right now. It's Levi Cox wiggling up on the inside just a little bit. Gregory Shepsis in that white car to the outside. We've seen Shepsis up there all night long, Chris. He has not been afraid to ride that high line, much to his success so far.
Yeah, not at all. He's definitely making it work and doing a really nice job. You know, and I think the times that we've seen it are on restarts where, you know, he kind of has had to do it. And when he has to, he definitely is doing a really nice job. As, man, we got a lot of shuffling going on back around the 10th spot.
That was a bit of a logjam that I believe might have started with Jacob Chase. I know the Chase fans in the chat are going to like to hear that, but I think he might have gotten a piece of the wall, and drivers kind of had to swerve left to avoid him, which did create that logjam that we definitely saw on TV. The 27, Shepsis in the wall, another car spinning down the back stretch. Who is that? That is going to be the 28 of Ricky Mandela Sr. We're still green. Drivers get it gathered back up. Shepsis, though, was kind of the catalyst for that whole reaction. We're going to see if we can find out what happened to Shepsis, but he is in a big old swarm of traffic right now, not where he wants to be after being in second just a moment ago. Another car that is, I believe, trying to look through my timing here, the 66 of Robert Walton having some trouble. Another car spinning. The 13 down the front straightaway. Mike Weber running into trouble, Chris. These drivers, when we talk about it, when it rains, it pours. Still somehow under green flag conditions after all these drivers get it gathered up, but I'm not sure where to look on the track right now because all these drivers are struggling on lap number 60.
Yeah, we've been able to go back. We saw what happened to the 27 of Shepsis. He got, it looks like he overcorrected, got loose off of turn 2, and corrected back into the outside retaining wall. And then the 13 of Weber right there, he gets a little bit loose off of turn 4, but he kept it going right there. No caution at all. Drivers doing a nice job of avoiding any type of major chaos. We're still green.
Yeah, give a shout out to Amir, our race controller, who kind of probably held his hand over the caution button but didn't bring it out. We didn't get an auto iRacing caution, and our race director showed some discretion there. So great job on all accounts.
3 wide in turn 3.
3 wide, and that's a little bit scary with one of the cars, the 26 of Veal, disappearing out for just a moment, Chris.
Yeah, that was really close and very sketchy for these drivers right here as Greg Veal was blinking. There's still 3 wide entering turn 1. Chris Blassie. Oh, no.
Loose. You saw it. He had to correct it. Almost got up into the wall. Drivers kind of diving to the left to avoid Chris Blassie. He and Josh, I believe that was Joshua Kerner, or was that might have been Chase, Jacob Chase, had a near contact. Couple of cars had trouble in that corner, including Blassie, who I think it started, Chris, with overshooting the corner and maybe getting that apron a little bit.
Yeah, he's gotten it gathered up right here, though. Need to just run some clean laps right here, cool them tires down. These guys have been doing a lot of sliding right here in the last few laps. There's Gregory Shepsis right there. We see the damage on the right front. Man, he corrected that slide. He was sliding off of turn 2. He corrected that slide, and it's hooked hard back to the right. And I'm surprised that it doesn't have any more damage than what it does. I mean, it's clearly affected the handling of this car. But he is still up here in the top 10 right now. But, man, very unfortunate turn of events for Shepsis.
Yeah, brought home a third-place finish last week at Miami. His best finish of the season. Was looking like he was going to back that up with another solid top 5 performance tonight. But you can see that thing just
we got a car on the wall,
outside the corner. The 29 of Michael Benton. Serious trouble down the back straightaway. This is the second time we've seen that. We're going to see maybe him bring it to pit road here if he can get down there. He might continue on, though. Chris, yeah, it's been a wild and crazy night. Just 67 laps in here at Richmond. Several drivers really struggling with drive off. That's been kind of the danger zone we've seen much of this evening. Shepsis, as we were talking about a moment ago, definitely fell victim to that and probably not going to wind up with that top 5 that he was hoping for. Now sitting in 10th position and some damage to his bright white 27 machine. Chris Blassie looking to go by on the inside down into turn 1 right now.
Yeah, up here at the front of the field, just wanted to bring some attention up here. Tyler Truex is not letting Aaron Smith get away. He is maintaining his pace with him. And by the way, we do have a battle for the 3rd spot. Levi Cox under some pressure from Steven Lashinsky. Lashinsky is going to complete that pass. Looks like Levi Cox right there, not too interested in racing against the driver of the 99. He's going to let Lashinsky go. And meanwhile, we got another battle right here, battle for 5th. Anthony Burleson under pressure from Greg Veal.
Yeah, Greg Veal looking to climb his way back through the field. Had been running the top 5 before encountering a lap car. 2 cautions ago. He's back up to the 5th position, looking for better, looking for the 5th position. Currently in the 6th position. Great charge back through the field for Greg Veal tonight, Chris. And I just wanted to mention that 99 of Lashinsky, I don't know if that car is set up on the loose side tonight, but that thing, I've been able to see the numbers on the side of that car at points through those those 2 sets of corners. And this is a driver that we've seen have a lot of pace early in runs, but that 99 car isn't there at the end of the run from what we've seen the past week, at least at Homestead. So I'm curious if he gets that kind of under control tonight. Right now, making it look pretty good, though, in that 3rd position. We'll see how the 99 of Steve Lashinsky fares through the rest of the evening. And just for fans at home, Steve is a mechanic on a monster truck, which is why he's got that Monster Jam car, the Monster Jam logo on the front and side of that number 99. So
we got trouble.
Some interesting jobs. The number 29 and the 28, I believe, that was Ricky Mandela Sr. and Michael Benton. They're going to bring us under caution for the 4th time tonight, I should say.
Yeah, I think the 29 ran into some trouble again in front of the 28. And unfortunately, I think the 28 was just a victim here. He's giving room right there. Yeah, it looks like the 29 bounced off the wall down the track into the path of the 28 right there of Ricky Mandela. Very unfortunate. Those 2 cars are painted similarly.
Yeah, they look like they might be teammates, and I think
that
I
wonder
is
what
a
happened.
Team crash there.
Yeah, we'll go right here. I don't know what happened to Michael Benton. He's going down the backstretch right here, riding on board, and he goes down low, almost like he's trying to get out of the way, but then he shoots back to the right, so I'm not sure what happened. And yeah, man, really unfortunate. You see Ricky Mandela climbing up over the left rear of his teammate, possibly there.
And that's going to be probably night-ending damage for both of those cars. It's going to put us under caution for the 4th time tonight. We got yellow flag pit stops underway. Aaron Smith very well might get beat by Truex off of pit road. It's not going to happen. Smith retains the top position, but Truex stays in 2nd. It's looks like the number 99 of Steven Lashinsky comes off in 3rd, and behind them, it's the 26 of Greg Veal. So the top 4 hold station, Chris, and I think it's a good opportunity now that we've seen that crash. We've seen those pit stops to take a moment to hear once again from our friends at SimWrap Market. We'll hear from them and be back on the other end of this break. All right, back here from the virtual Richmond Raceway, caution number 5 on the track. Teammates colliding there to put us under caution for the 4th time tonight. Aaron Smith still your leader. Tyler Truex second. Steve Lashinsky third. Greg Veal is 4th. Chris, right now under caution, getting ready to take the restart maybe in about a lap. Got a trivia question. Connor's asking wants some trivia. How about this? How about which NASCAR legend holds the record for most wins at Richmond Raceway? Your choices: Dale Earnhardt, Jeff Gordon, Richard Petty, or Tony Stewart. Most wins at Richmond Raceway.
That's a tough one.
We'll let you marinate on it. Yeah. Let the chat marinate on it. Give us your guesses for those answers. Which driver is the winningest driver at Richmond Raceway? About a half a lap away from the restart. Drivers coming down the backstretch right now. Pace car getting ready to pull off here in just a moment. It's going to be Smith on the inside, Truex on the outside. Last restart, we saw Truex really put it to Aaron Smith and not let him drive away. We'll see what he does this time. Smith goes early in the blue box. The restart is underway. We're green. Looks like Truex might have had some trouble getting away. It's going to open the door where he has to protect both from Lashinsky and Veal. Lashinsky sideways through the corner. Several drivers going to have to make their way around a crash. Another car sideways out of turn number 2, 3, 4 cars involved in a lap 78 crash. We're going to return to the scene of the crime, and I saw Leahy got involved in that as well.
Yeah, I think that's just a restart. Yeah, he's already a little bit sideways right here, but maybe on these cold tires right here, charging down into the corner. We're going to try to look at this one from overhead so you can get like a broader perspective of the crash.
Oof.
Yeah, it's
Blassie involved as well.
Yeah, so charging down here into turn 1. Yeah, the car's just not quite turning like he needs it to, and then all of a sudden it turns around on him. Levi Cox doing a great job to avoid the spinning 99. Looks like Chris Blassie a little bit sideways, trying to decide where to go. Yeah, he does make some contact. Chase Leahy got turned around in that as well. Looks like Leahy also had some contact with the 66 right there. That is Robert Walton, who is several laps down. Yeah, super unfortunate for these drivers right here. We're going to go back and watch this one more time. See if we can get a little bit different perspective. Oh, yeah. I think that Leahy saw it happening and was trying to react to it. We're riding on board with him right here. That he saw it happening and was trying to react, and a car jumped sideways on him. Saw a lot of sideways cars, which, when you're trying to react to a crash, it's easy to jump sideways, but also really easy on cold tires as well.
We've seen several drivers kind of falling victim to that same pitfall. Cold tires, loose race cars. It's been the story we've been following all night long, Chris. That 70 of Aaron Smith, he's made it look easy, but it is no easy task out here. Even quality drivers like Lashinsky running into trouble. Hey, who's the winningest driver at Richmond Raceway, Connor? You got it correct. Richard Petty. Richard Petty, we mentioned it. One of the races he won, he lapped the entire field back in 1953. So,
and when
yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, when Richard Petty was winning most of his races, in fact, I'll go ahead and say when he was winning all of his races, it was on the old Richmond Fairgrounds, which I really, really wish, Ellis, that was a possibility for us to race there on iRacing. That would be awesome, wouldn't it?
I'm waiting for the day where iRacing does create those historical tracks. I want the Daytona Beach circuit. I would love like an Asheville Raceway. There are a lot of unique tracks that have kind of been lost to time that I think we would all be okay with if we didn't have perfect laser scans, but something close enough that we could enjoy. So eventually maybe those will come down the pipeline. I know iRacing is really committed to laser scan 100% accuracy, but I think we would all be on board if we could get some tech tracks just of those old historic raceways. So right now, to reset it for you, Aaron Smith is your leader. We're under yellow now for the 5th time tonight. Tyler Truex second, Greg Veal third, Levi Cox fourth, Anthony Burleson sits in the 5th position. Chris, as we roll around right now, it might be a great time to talk about the cameras we've got. If you've noticed, we've got some great footage we open our races with, and we've got some great cameras to bring you all sorts of angles and coverage from around the track. Those are brought to you by Whiplash Sim Cams. You see them on the ticker. You also see them presenting the white flag every single week this season. We're grateful for their partnership and really helping us bring you this quality broadcast and the best views in the business from Whiplash Sim Cams. You can find more info about them on their Facebook page and by visiting the link in our video description. So if you haven't liked and subscribed this video, we would appreciate it if you did. It doesn't cost you a single thing. It helps bring your drivers in front of more eyes every single week. So right now, eyes are wide on these drivers themselves as we get ready for the restart. Aaron Smith's going to be your leader coming out of turn 3. He jumps to the green flag. A little bit of contact there between Truex and him. This is the second restart in a row that number 69 on the outside has really struggled to get going. Launches on the outside there. Levi Cox underneath him. Another car sideways down the backstretch into that retaining wall. We're going to stay under green flag conditions at least for now. It's tight up front. That was the 08 of Glenn Grimm, who had been having a top 10 run most of the evening. He's going to be really probably coming down pit road with that damage. Levi Cox almost gets into the back of Greg Veal. Drove it hard in that corner. Veal has to play defense there. Into the second position goes Veal. Caution on the speedway now for the 6th time tonight.
Yeah, I thought that maybe he'd get going right there before it drew the caution, but yeah, unfortunately, it looked like Walton got sideways right there off of turn 2. We'll go back and we'll see what occurred right here. Oh, the Bass Pro Chevy is already around sideways right there. Yeah, that just looks like a car that got loose right there off of turn 2 and just came around on the driver of the 66.
Yeah, this has been really a tough night. Drivers that we've seen have quality runs all season really struggling to find their footing here at Richmond, and by footing I mean really finding their grip with those tires, those Goodyear rubbers, really struggling. It seems like in some ways that's harder to drive those the new tires than it is the old tires, and several drivers finding out that the hard way this evening. And Connor was also in the chat asking, before I mention that though, some other comments I want to mention. Looks like Glock Lesnar said, I told you Jacob would creep back up through the field. Talking about Jacob Chase, that is in 11th position right now. Connor also mentioned that Richmond has a lot more dates than just the fairgrounds and old times. We're going to give away a free 1/64th scale diecast here before the evening is over. All you have to do is say hi in the chat. It's a simple comment. Just say hi. You can respond to one of our trivia questions. You can let us know what driver you are rooting for. Anything enters you in to win that 1/64th scale diecast, which we will send you free of charge. And that is a 1/64th NASCAR diecast. So watching these cars roll around right now, Chris, I don't think anyone's going to be coming to pit road here on lap 88 of 225. And we've had a handful of cautions. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say Aaron Smith is on pit road.
You are right. Aaron Smith gives up the lead. We're going to follow him closely on this. I don't think he got tires on that stop. I think he came down for fuel only based on the telemetry. I'm seeing a 32-second pit stop down pit road. That is a fuel-only pit stop, Chris.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm curious about that decision.
Yeah, so at this point, I don't think that he can go to the end on fuel at this point, based upon the numbers that we saw earlier. But, yeah, maybe Aaron is thinking possibly, I'm not sure. Maybe he wants to make it interesting for us.
Yeah, I think he's going to maybe test the limits of his car, trying to get back up through the field. Hey, his car, not mine. I would be definitely content to ride up front as he was most of the evening. That's going to hand over the lead to Greg Veal, Chris, and it feels like just a couple of cautions ago it was Veal we were talking about being involved in the caution, but he has found his way back up to the lead. He's going to be the control car in just about a lap and a half, and if you're a driver mid-pack, let's say you're Nicholas Tomlinson, who's worked his way back up through the field immensely as well, and you're the crew chief, what are you telling your driver after a spate of 3 or 4 cautions here in a span of 10 green flag laps? You're in the middle of all this. What are you telling your driver?
Well, first off, I'm going to tell him that he's done a great job tonight. We've seen him around a couple times right here, and I don't see any damage on that Enterprise Chevy, so I'm going to pump him up for that. Just tell him, like, hey, we're still in this thing. But also, just keep your eyes peeled out there. You know, we're seeing a lot of drivers spin out on these restarts. We're seeing a lot of really, really close calls out there. So keep your eyes peeled. Try to just, work your way through these opening laps. And, we get some green flag laps right here. I think that we'll go green for a while. Maybe if we can just get past these first 2 or 3 laps of a restart.
It's a tricky balance, right? Pushing on the restart, trying to get every spot you can while also not finding yourself either causing a caution or winding up in one. Right now, one car, Veal's having some connection issues, Chris.
Yeah.
We'll keep an eye on that, but it's going to be him on the inside control car. Levi Cox to the outside. Veal gets a big jump with the help of Tyler Truex. Going to jump into 3rd position, now 2nd. He has no trouble getting going on this restart. Truex in a hurry to get down to the bottom. Veal sideways. Sideways into the wall goes Veal, the leader. 2nd time tonight. He's got trouble. Cars dashing to the inside to try to get to the bottom to avoid any sort of contact with the guy who started this restart from the lead. Now all the way back to 10th position. That's going to put Truex now about 4 to 5 car lengths up in front of Levi Cox. Anthony Burleson slides into 3rd.
Joshua
Joshua
there goes Leszczynski around.
Back up to 4th. We're going to be under caution. Leszczynski saves it.
He saved
it.
He was going around, but he saved it. And
I think it might have been Veal who helped him save it there with a little bit of contact.
Yeah, and Veal is still sideways, still struggling right there in that 26, hitting going right here on this restart.
Lots of drivers struggling. We mentioned it. Joshua Kerner in the chat earlier said it was a loose track, and it has continued to be loose. That has not changed at all. Several battles, Chris. Aaron Smith trying to work his way through the field, getting by David Reichman there for the 7th position. He continues his charge. It's going to be Chase Leahy now next up on the list with Nicholas Tomlinson in front of him. Meanwhile, back up front, Tyler Truex stretched it out to about 5-6 car lengths over Levi Cox. This battle's for 3rd right now. Burleson's got Kerner breathing down his neck, just about a car length and a half separating those 2 drivers. Been number 79 to 14 over the past couple of laps.
Yeah, Kerner had a tough break last week at Homestead, Miami. Looking to rebound this week at Richmond, and he's got that 14 Dodge up here in the top 5. Looking real racy right here at the lap 95 mark.
Very racy. Greg Veal trying to get it going again. David Reichman on the inside. That's a battle for the 8th position. Veal, that car's taking a bit of a beating over here in the past 20-25 laps, especially with that lap number 93 restart. Where Veal got up into the wall, but he's gathered it back up, and he's going to try to mount a 2nd charge. One car I'm seeing really loose, Chris, Glenn Grimm. He was involved earlier in that caution, and I could have sworn that car was going to take a head-on hit into that retaining wall in the backstretch, and that thing doesn't seem to have much damage on the front end right now.
Yeah, he did a nice job of keeping it straight right there. One driver that is sliding back right here because he got sort of trapped behind the 6 of David Reichman is Steven Leszczynski. Leszczynski lost 2 spots right there, just getting held up behind the 6 car. But yeah, he is going to clear the 6 right here. Try to set the sights back on Jacob Chase and Glenn Grimm. Glenn Grimm got that Batman paint scheme up here in the top 10, and Jacob Chase looking to get around him.
That's a good-looking paint scheme. He's had some great paint schemes this season. Makes it hard on us to spot him, but a great Halloween-themed paint scheme with that Batman scheme going on right now. On the outside, trying to fly by Jacob Chase, but Chase is going to have other thoughts and things to say about that. Chasing that black and orange number 5 on the inside. I know he's got some fans in the chat right now. Jacob Chase now climbing up to the 9th position, continuing that charge back up through the field on lap number 99 of 225. Aaron Smith, meanwhile, continues his charge in the middle of chaos, trying to get by Nicholas Tomlinson for the 5th position. He's got Greg Veal underneath him, and boy, Chris, he's in the hornet's nest right now. Smith on the outside. How much do you have to trust a driver to get up on the outside of him like that?
It takes a lot of trust. Aaron didn't poke his nose out there on corner exit. He was there for a while, so Aaron's just trying to be smart right there. Not showing up right at corner exit where the driver's going to open the wheel up. And Tomlinson did a nice job right there of giving him room. Looks like Nicholas sliding back here a little bit in the last couple laps. He's going to try to hold off Chase Leahy right here. Battle for the 7th spot. Greg Veal is following Aaron Smith back up through the field after that restart issue that he had in turns 1 and 2. So Veal, still showing a lot of speed in that 26 car.
Yeah, and as much as a beating as that thing is taken, I'm really impressed with the 26's car speed here on lap 102. Veal in 6th, Aaron Smith in 5th. Kerner up ahead of them in 14th, just about 10 car lengths in front of Aaron Smith. Smith not able to get back up there in the last couple of laps. Look at the speed. Smith is actually running some of the fastest times on the track. Really, the top 4 right now are pretty comparable, Chris. Aaron Smith a tick faster that time, but top now 6 running almost identical lap times, not far of each other, less than a tenth separate them, which is why we've seen kind of these spacing stay the same for the past several laps. Chase Leahy, Chris, working to wearing out the back bumper of the 33 of Nicholas Tomlinson right now. That battle for 7th we were mentioning just a moment ago continues to heat up. Leahy sideways, and I'm seeing these cars get more and more sideways as the run goes on. Leahy almost grabbed the wall there off of turn 2, just trying to follow the tire tracks right now of the number 33 of Nicholas Tomlinson.
Yeah, it looks like Leahy's getting through the center of the corner a little bit better than Tomlinson. Oh, he drives it in a little bit deeper here. I think that was a little deeper than what he wanted to. But, yeah, oh, no, he's doing a nice job of trying to get that run down the hill. That's how you pass people here at Richmond. Sort of setting up a late apex to the center of the corner right there. You can really, utilize a lot of throttle time right there to, put your car in a little bit higher RPM band down the straightaway. So it makes it look like you got a lot more straightaway speed whenever you do that. And he's just trying to get that run up off the corner.
Yeah, Chris, speaking of late apexes, Tyler Truex in the lead right now, but Levi Cox not far behind him. And I think actually Levi Cox might have been... Was Levi Cox leading the race about 5 laps ago, or was that Truex?
I think that Tyler Truex has had the lead.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so Levi Cox is closing the gap here, just about 3 car lengths back from the lead. Slightly different lines now. Truex and Levi Cox running almost identical lines through turns 3 and 4. We'll see what approach they choose in turn 1, but for the last couple of laps, Levi Cox been choosing a bit of a later entry, arcing it down, as you mentioned, kind of a later apex for that number 1. You see it get a real good drive off the corner there. Picks up at least a car length on Tyler Truex. Looks like he's going to take the same approach down into turn number 3 and 4. I'm curious if we can get a ride along on that number 1, Chris, and maybe pull up the battle box as well as we watch these 2 leaders battle it out on lap 109 of 225.
Yeah, riding on board right here with Levi Cox. Cox gets a run right here off of turn 2. He's going to look to the inside of Truex. Truex giving him the room that he needs down here. Look at that run that 69 gets off of turn 4.
Yeah, that outside line just carries so much momentum. It comes at the cost of tire wear, but right now Tyler Truex making it look easy. Levi Cox going to have something to say about it right now. Ducking to the inside, Truex closes the door just a little bit on Levi Cox as they come off of turn 3 and 4. Looks like Truex is a little bit loose off the corner that time. It's going to allow Cox to close back into about a car length, now a quarter of a car length, almost on the back bumper of Truex. Who's going to get the better run off here? It looks like it might have been dead even. Give the edge to Cox just a little bit. He's able to duck a nose down to the inside of Tyler Truex, down through turns 3 and 4. Now back to the front straightaway. Truex is going to hold on to it for at least another lap. 111. Now 112 of 225 in the books. Truex is your leader. Levi Cox is second. Good run for Cox off the corner there. He's going to channel that into a pass for the lead down on the inside. Oh. Contact between the 2 leaders. It looks like contact. You might have been able to slide a sheet of paper in there. Maybe, maybe not. But Truex is going to come out on the better end of that. That outside line prevails once again.
Yeah, that's just good, hard, short track racing right there. You saw Levi Cox. He had that inside position entering turn 3. Turn 3 is a little bit of a tighter entry into the corner than turn 1 is. Both these corners, the way that you attack them and the way that you come off those corners are very different from each other. And you saw that car slide up just a little bit. There might have been a little side-by-side contact, but if there was, it was just minimal. And, both these drivers right here, they know that that's just good, hard, short track racing. As Tyler Truex is giving him room. Not a lot of room, but he's giving him room to complete this pass.
Yeah, Chris, battle for third heating up. Not much of a battle. Aaron Smith going to duck to the inside of Anthony Burleson, who's willing to relinquish that spot pretty easily, pretty quickly. Aaron Smith goes to the 3rd position. We mentioned Aaron came down for a fuel-only stop just about 30 laps, or now 41 laps ago, or 27 laps ago, I should say. Kind of an interesting strategy approach. We're going to see Smith now climbing back up. He's just a second and a half off the lead, Chris. So a little bit of extra fuel. Maybe not going to lose that much on that strategy, but he's going to get a few more laps in the tank, 15 or so to be precise.
Yeah, we saw Levi Cox tag the wall right there on the entry of turn 1. Actually on the front stretch right there. Because I think he's really trying to get aggressive with his line right here because he sees that 70 getting a little bit closer, Levi Cox has been really smart all year about like his pace and everything, but I think he also recognizes the importance of track position tonight and how I think that's going to be a very critical story all race long.
Yeah, sense of urgency definitely picking up behind the windshield, the number 1, Levi Cox. You mentioned aggressive lines, experimenting a little bit to try to get by Tyler Truex, who has held on to that lead since the restart just about 30 laps ago. Right now it's Truex, Levi Cox, both white cars racing for the lead. They're going to be coming up in the lap car of Mike Weber, who had a little bit of trouble earlier, but right now in his TNT Series debut, Weber's got a 14th place run going. He's going to have to stay way out of the way of these leaders, though, as they get ready to make their way by to put him a lap down for the first time tonight. Does Tyler Truex maybe try to use the 13 as a pick, or Levi Cox maybe try to do that here? If you're one of these race car drivers, how could you use that 13?
I just think that it really depends on like watching the runs, and it also just depends on when you catch them. I think that in this case right here, you got to make a decision very quick. Looks like right here the 13 is going to stay up high, give these leaders plenty of room. I'm not sure either one of them is going to be able to use them to their advantages. I think they're both going to get by him fairly easily. But you can definitely do that on a short track. You can definitely use the lap cars as a pick, as you said.
If anything, we've seen it allow Aaron Smith to creep ever closer into the picture. Now about 8/10 off of the lead, Chris. Aaron Smith in 30. He's running some of the fastest times on the track right now. That time by was a tick slower, just working his way by the lap car, but he is right back up front where he started this race. Just 2 spots ahead of him between him and the lead. Tyler Truex has stretched it out over Levi Cox the past couple of laps, Chris, as Levi Cox maybe just slowing down a little bit, trying to hold on to those tires. We've seen him really be second in the field in terms of the ability to save tires, only behind Aaron Smith. Levi Cox doing a pretty good job. He's the only driver other than Aaron Smith, Chris, to finish in the top 3 the first 3 races of the season.
Yeah, he's definitely been the championship competition for Aaron Smith so far. My biggest question right here, 4th race of the season, who else is going to insert themselves into that championship picture? You know there's a possibility that others will. Wouldn't be a bit surprised at all to see other drivers possibly move back up there, into that as the season goes on. These drivers learn each other. They learn these cars. They learn, how they react here on the track. And, we'll be keeping an eye on it and figuring it out as we got a pass possibly for the lead here.
That's possibly for the lead indeed. It's Tyler Truex on the outside. On the inside, it's Levi Cox. Just a couple of laps ago, he was right back there, but that yellow car has maybe increased Cox's sense of urgency. Aaron Smith continuing to creep closer. He's been the class of the field tonight. Levi Cox wants to have something to say about that. Tyler Truex doesn't want to give up the lead. Not that easily, at least. They race down the back straightaway, down into turn 3 now. Cox on the inside, Truex on the outside. Aaron Smith going to be in a position to maybe make it a 3-way fight for the lead on lap 125. Just 100 laps remaining tonight. Pace is picking up. The night continues to set in. The moon continues to raise. And now down the back straightaway for the 126th time, Aaron Smith might go to the outside of Levi Cox for second position, depending on where Cox goes here on the exit of turn 4. Aaron Smith getting ready to make that pass. If you're Levi Cox, Chris, how frustrated are you right now in the cockpit? Just, trying to get by the number 69 of Truex. Multiple laps. Now Aaron Smith going to shake it out, goes down to the bottom, mixes it up, and maybe catches Levi Cox off guard for a moment. If you're Levi Cox now, Chris, how frustrated are you that you couldn't get by Truex and it forced you essentially to also give up second spot?
It's super frustrating, but you got to remember that we've got almost 100 laps to go in this race. So, I mean, there's a long ways to go. Levi Cox got a really good run through turns 1 and 2 right there as Aaron Smith ran up on the back of Tyler Truex. So he's still in this thing right here. It's just hard to complete a pass. It's very difficult. I think that Aaron Smith and maybe he's going to thinking he can slide around the outside possibly of Tyler Truex.
Yeah, Truex now on the inside. It's Aaron Smith to the outside in that bright yellow 70 machine. He's going to take off like a rocket off the corner. Can Levi Cox maybe take that same hole that Aaron Smith opened up? The answer is no, but Aaron Smith propels himself back out to the lead, and there's nothing Truex can really do about it here on lap 129. The 69's got to settle into second with Levi Cox back in third position. Aaron Smith reclaims the lead after coming down pit road about 42 laps ago for a fuel-only pit stop. That's going to put him a little bit longer on fuel here than the rest of the field. But it's now about a 2-car length lead for Aaron Smith. Second is Tyler Truex. Third, Levi Cox. That 4th car in line is Mike Weber back in 14th position. Just got put a lap down a couple of laps ago. A couple other intense battles going on the track right now, Chris. I'm looking back in 9th position. Veal and Chase Leahy going at it for the past lap or two. It's Leahy on the outside. We mentioned it's really hard to pass on the inside. Leahy really uses that outside lane to his advantage. And one of the things that we've kind of seen, I don't know if we talked about it explicitly tonight, Chris. By the way, bye, Connor. Have a good night. He says he's going to watch his dad bowl. Good luck. Maybe Dad will get a perfect game. But one of the things I've noticed is it's really difficult. Almost contact between Veal and Leahy. Veal, it did exactly, Chris, what I was about to mention. When you're going to the inside of a driver, Leahy up in the wall, maybe had a little bit of trouble there. Maybe just wanted to get out of the hornet's nest potentially. When you go down to the inside of a driver trying to make a pass, how tempting is it to try to maybe just have a little bit later braking zone than the driver you're with and maybe just overshoot that corner, potentially putting you and the driver to your outside in danger?
Well, I can tell you right here at this track, if you do that, you're going to get yourself in trouble, and I know that because I've done it before. When you're on the inside of a driver right here, you definitely want to try to outbrake them. I mean, it's a short track, that's how you treat it, but entering turns 3 and turn 1 right here, if you're not, in the optimal line, if you're on the inside of a driver, it's just something about this track right here where you just get super, super loose on corner entry trying to outbrake people on the inside. And that's the thing that I always run into, that I have always fought here, is Lashinsky's going to get passed back right here by Chase Leahy, it looks like. But it's super tempting. You just got to try to maintain your discipline here, and a pass that might take 2 laps at another track might take about 5 laps here.
Patience was one of the things we mentioned in pre-race, Chris, when it came to when and where to make those passes. And right now, Aaron Smith, several of the top 5, really showing patience, and it's tempting, right? That is even on the outside. And I've fallen victim to this before. When you're caught in a race and you're racing a driver off the corner to the outside, there's no guarantee that car is going to hold on when you throttle up on exit. We've seen a couple of drivers, including Greg Veal, get loose on exit of the corner and really have issues. And we'll probably see at least another car or two have those same issues tonight. That's just the nature of short tracks. It's the nature of these cars. It's the nature of Richmond. As we hit lap 138 of 225 tonight, we've been under a green flag run now for the past 50 laps. It's the longest green flag run of the evening. Anthony Burleson running some fast laps, Chris, right now in the 4th position. He's got Joshua Kerner, though, that has worked his way to the inside, now looking for the 4th position to overtake Anthony Burleson. Kerner's had kind of an up and down night, Chris. Started in the 6th position, dropped back several positions, now working his way back up, or trying to work his way back up into the top 5, trying to get by Burleson here.
Yeah, that battle's going on. Meanwhile, the battle right here for the 9th spot is still intense right here between 3 drivers. Lashinsky, Leahy, and Grimm all battling it out right here. 3-way battle for this 9th spot.
Yeah, drivers driving out of the 4th turn here. And again, Chris, I don't think I've seen a car looser on the track tonight than Lashinsky. This thing looks like it is just on ice this evening.
Yeah, you saw right there his left side's touched the apron, and sometimes that will exacerbate that loose condition that you're feeling. When you drive those, when you get those left sides down there on that yellow line. You see inside the cockpit of that 99 car, you can see him counter steering right there on corner exit. Oh, he overdrove it. Glenn Grimm sideways.
Glenn Grimm, Lashinsky, the 99. And that was Shepsis. Gregory Shepsis gets involved in that as well. And Chris, we had seen that. It felt like that was a couple of laps coming. And I know the commentators curse. People are going to be talking about it once again.
They hit again.
Yeah, I don't know if that was intentional, maybe a little bit of frustration between those drivers there, or maybe just, I think maybe Lashinsky wasn't expecting Shepsis to drive it back down the track. But regardless, it puts us under caution for the 7th time tonight, lap 142, after a 54-lap green flag run. We're going to see what happened to Steven Lashinsky here.
Yeah, it looks like right here on corner entry, we were watching it as it occurred, just overdrove it a little bit right here on entry to turn 1 underneath Glenn Grimm. He's up the track, and you kind of see that car getting sideways, and he tried to back out of it. He knew that he was in trouble, did not want to wreck Glenn Grimm, but one thing to always look at is, the lines on the track, they never lie, and so you can kind of see just how far they are up on the track there.
And I would imagine 60 laps in now for these drivers, over 60 laps on these tires, we are most certainly going to be seeing green flag pit stops or yellow flag pit stops from every single driver in the field looking for some fresh Goodyear rubber, Chris. But just as we were talking about it, right, you're on the inside. The temptation is to drive it in super hard there. But these drivers are going to be looking to drive it in super hard to the attention of their crew and hit their marks, getting into those pit stalls perfectly. The more time you save, the higher position is going to be off of pit road, or you're going to increase your chances of making a pass on pit road. And that's the easiest place to pass cars tonight at Richmond. So Aaron Smith looking to hold on to that lead over Levi Cox and Tyler Truex, as well as Anthony Burleson, Nick Tomlinson, and Josh Kerner here. We're going to see what the battle off pit road looks like here. Aaron Smith came down with a pretty big lead.
Yeah, it looks like, it's a close race off of pit road right here. I think Aaron Smith is going to win that race, beating out Levi Cox. Got a lot of drivers staying out, though, Ellis.
That's interesting.
Oh, wait a second. No.
Here.
Hang on one second. I'm sorry. I think that pit road actually opened a lap earlier, and maybe some of these drivers missed pit road entry because I showed Tyler Truex, Anthony Burleson, Joshua Kerner. They all came to pit road the lap prior. And so I don't know if maybe these drivers came to pit road a lap early, or if maybe Aaron Smith, Levi Cox, Chris Blassie, all these drivers maybe missed. I'm not sure if they maybe missed pit road the first time.
We might have dropped the ball a little bit on that. I know we saw Aaron Smith coming down. We just assumed that was the first lap of pit stop availability on pit road. But either way, it's going to be Tyler Truex who is in the lead. Anthony Burleson's going to be second place. Josh Kerner up to third tonight. Nicholas Tomlinson, nice recovery from an early race incident. Fourth, Chase Leahy and Glenn Grimm. Chris, I feel like we've seen all sorts of drivers involved in incidents tonight, but they're finding their way to get back through the field. And that seems to be a theme I've seen throughout the season. The first 4 races is the tenacity of these drivers to just stay determined, right? They're not, putting their heads down. They're not just, storming off out of the race car. They're staying in it, they're sticking with it, and they're getting the finishes to show for their hard work, and that's impressive. That's all you can ask for from a race car driver, is just to never give up, and we've seen that sort of attitude from a lot of these drivers. Tyler Truex going to be on the inside. He's control car for this restart coming up in just about half a lap. Truex will take them under green flag racing when he hits that Geico restart zone. Anthony Burleson going to be second, Josh Kerner third, Nicholas Tomlinson fourth, and Chase Leahy fifth. Chris, some new faces up front here in the top 2-3. We're going to see how Tyler Truex leads them off. He gets a great restart, maybe the best of the night. Can everyone else keep up? Burleson's going to have to do duel with Joshua Kerner down to the inside in turn number 1 and 2. One car
Tomlinson
up the track. That's Tomlinson. Grabs Glenn Grimm. It's a 2-car crash here on the restart on lap 147. Again, fresh tires, the fresh tire fallacy here. Tomlinson, a little bit too comfortable headed down into the corner, loses traction. Glenn Grimm in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, right here, you can see that That 33 car going sideways right there. Glenn Grimm nowhere to go on the entry to the corner right there. We're going to go back a little bit further, get a little bit better perspective of this from further back. We're going to watch the 33 right here on the restart. Gets up through the gears right here across the start-finish line. Two wide battle in front of him. He's got Chase Leahy underneath him right here. Turning down into turn one. Oh, he does scrub the wall a little bit right there on entry. But I think the entry speed was just a little bit too high, a little bit too ambitious right there going into the corner. He does lock it down, but unfortunately, Glenn Grimm has nowhere to go. And unfortunately, the 08 gets a good bit of front-end damage from his contact with Tomlinson there.
And we were doing so good with a long green flag run, but as you mentioned, Chris, in the pre-race, cautions breed cautions. Now closing in on lap 150 of 225. This race, for a race that has had 7 cautions, has moved pretty quickly at the short track here at Richmond. Just about an hour and 15 minutes of racing with 75 laps. We're closing in on the final third of this race, and we're getting down to the money laps. Tyler Truex in the lead, Anthony Burleson second, Josh Kerner third, Chase Leahy fourth, and then Chris, Aaron Smith is in fifth. That is the driver who we think a couple drivers might have missed pit road the first time it opened. So Smith kind of working from behind the 8 ball, bringing Levi Cox and Greg Veal with him. David Reichman up to 8th, another driver we've seen have some issues, got a top 10 going right now. Mike Weber, Chris, in the 13th, and his debut here for the TNT Series in 9th. And then Glenn Grimm, who we just saw involved in that last caution, is in the 10th position. Lashinsky behind him. Tomlinson slips back to 12th. Chris Blassie in 13th. Gregory Shepsis in 14th. And then Jacob Chase involved in a caution just a couple of laps ago, back to 15th position. Everyone else, I believe, Robert Walton in 16th. The other 2 cars, Mendela and Benton, off the track, done for the night. Chris, I think it might be a good opportunity to take a step away and hear from our partners at Simrap Market, and we'll be back on the other end of this break. Back here from the virtual Richmond Raceway for the TNT Series race number 4. It's Ellis and Chris in the Slingshot Racing Media booth. We're gearing up for a restart. Coming to lap 153, re-racking him here. Tyler Truex, that white number 69 on the inside. He's got the 79 of Anthony Burleson in that red and black machine to the outside. Truex has kind of been up and down on restarts tonight. The last couple have been good. Can he continue that streak here? He enters into the Geico restart zone, gets a nice jump on the field. The answer is yes. Burleson instantly slots into second. Kerner's got his battle with Chase Leahy to the outside. Kerner in that Bass Pro machine to the inside in the number 14. He's going to try to get underneath Burleson. He gets a little bit loose off the corner. All this going on in front of the points leader, Aaron Smith and Levi Cox. They're now battling for the 5th position, Chris. They're in the Hornet's nest. Smith's going to have to find a way to get by Levi Cox here and Joshua Kerner in the next couple of laps, potentially putting himself in a dangerous situation. Kerner slides up the track, almost gets into Leahy. Down the backstretch they go. That's now a battle for the 3rd position. It's Kerner in the teal and black number 14, and it's Chase Leahy in the white and red and black number 34. They continue to fight side by side down into turn number 1. Chase Leahy to the outside, Chris. We've seen cars loose all over the place tonight. Right now, everyone seems to be making it work. Leahy gets the better end of that fight. Now Kerner falls back into the clutches. Oh, Leahy sideways. It's going to put us under caution now on lap 155.
Yeah, Leahy was sideways right there. We were watching the battle between Kerner and Smith right there. We'll go back to see what actually occurred with Leahy. I'm not sure if there was contact maybe from behind right here. We're watching them right here down into turns 3 and 4. Oh, no, he got sideways. He got loose right there in front of him. Oh, Levi Cox with some contact into the outside retaining wall. Not sure how bad the damage is to the one right here. Yeah, I think that, it looks like maybe that, I think that Joshua Kerner... Yeah, no, there was, Kerner didn't do anything right there. It just looked like some looseness from the 34.
Cox is going to come down pit road. I think that gives us the answer on what that damage looks like. We're likely going to see him have some time in that pit stall for a repair. The danger with this, Chris, is your leaders aren't coming down pit road for tires or gas, it doesn't appear. A couple cars going to follow Cox down. But this is a short track. It's not going to give you that much time to repair your car before you have to go again, because the lap car, the lead pace car, is coming around. And the only blessing right now for him is that he is at the end of pit road. So he's got a minute to try to fix that race car. I'm keeping an eye on the pit stall time right now. 37 seconds on pit road, edging north of 40 now. That pace car is not going to be too far behind. Right now, that pace car is coming out of turn number 4. We're going to see Levi Cox really have to get going here as the pace car is going to be creeping towards the start-finish line. This is going to be something to keep your eye on. If there was one car we thought had a chance, Chris, to really challenge Aaron Smith for the win tonight, Shepsis and Cox are going to get off before the pace car gets ahead of them, so they're going to stay on the lead lap. Great job by both of those guys. Fast cars all night long, really making the strategy work to get out and stay on the lead lap. Very critical moment of this race for those drivers. Now just 68 laps to go. We've reached the money round. Levi Cox can come in one more time, Chris.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good move right there. He's at the back of the field now, so he doesn't have as much time as what he did earlier. But yeah, this is definitely a good move for Levi. We'll be watching right here. The 69 car of Tyler Truex is currently coming off of turn 4. Levi he's entering the pit stall right here. He just doesn't have as much time because of being at the back of the field. Yeah, only is able to get like a few seconds right there of damage fixed, but
that shows you just how important every second of damage repair can be, giving the pit crew an opportunity just to improve that car a little bit, maybe getting it back to closer to where it was before he got involved in that caution just about 4 laps ago.
Yeah, definitely. And it's a short track. You're bound to have more cautions. I hope that we don't, just because I want these drivers to, be able to have as clean of a race as possible. But, it's just realistic to expect that you're going to have more cautions on a short track before the end of the night.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. This racing has been fast and furious. When we were under green flag for nearly 60 laps, it was a pretty blistering pace. We've since slowed down just a little bit, but just 65 laps left in the books, Chris. Driver's going to be getting ready, I believe, to set it up for a double file restart here. They group it up just a little bit, less than a lap away from the restart now. Tyler Truex, got to be liking where he's sitting. Aaron Smith in 4th position right now. Smith, kind of after coming down pit road a lap late, has found himself mired back a little bit in this field. He's got some work cut out for him if he's going to get back up to the front. He's got some fast cars like Kerner and Burleson that he's going to have to get by before he even gets to Truex up in the lead position right now. Craig Veal, Chris, back in 5th position. Just yeoman's job tonight, along with Mike Weber in his debut for the TNT Series. Pace car pulls off. Truex gets a great restart. Burleson holds back Aaron Smith just a little bit. Smith to the outside of Kerner. This is a battle for the 3rd position now. It's going to be Kerner to the inside. Burleson to the outside. Kerner sideways off the corner. Lashinsky around. We're under caution once again tonight here now on lap 161, Chris. These drivers, they just got to get locked in for a lap. Now a spate of 3 cautions in a row where we haven't made it a single lap without a caution erupting once again. if you're in the cars right now, you got to be getting frustrated. How difficult is it to stay focused as we watch what happened here to Lashinsky and Joshua Kerner, kind of simultaneous spins on lap 161?
Yeah, it is difficult because, especially if you're trying to make up some positions right here, you need green flag laps to be able to make up positions. And it looks like to me right there that the 99 ran up onto the back of the 33. Just a difference in corner speed entry. And I think Lashinsky got on the binders right here to keep from maybe running into the back of the 33 of Tomlinson. While that was going on, as you mentioned, Ellis, we had another spin up ahead of him right here. We'll go back and we'll see what happened to Joshua Kerner. It looked like to me, a little bit of a shallow entry right here into turn one because he's got a driver to his outside, got a couple drivers out there. So he's wanting to give as much room as possible right here. Got a lot of wheel into it right here. It looks like he gets into a slide. Does not want to make contact with Burleson to his outside. And unfortunately, it goes around. He locks it down right there, doing a nice job of making himself predictable. But yes, that will bring out another caution here.
Another caution on lap 163. We've had a lot of cautions tonight. We've had some green flag racing. We went 60 laps of green flag racing, and that's kind of the trick. You just got to get going, and these drivers can get locked in. But we've struggled to see drivers find that kind of rhythm tonight. I don't think this is going to shake things up too much because we're not seeing a lot of cars come down pit road. It's going to be Truex, Burleson, Smith up to third now. Greg Veal fourth. Mike Weber in fifth position. Chase Leahy in sixth. Steve Lashinsky back there in the seventh position. Joshua Kerner eighth. Levi Cox up to 10th now. Levi Cox went down pit road, I believe, to try to get some more damage repaired. He's working on getting that car back in the shape he needs it to be if he's going to compete for a win here, Chris. So 164 laps in the books, just about 60 left tonight. In a blistering pace, this race could be over in 20-25 minutes if these drivers get it together and get some green flag laps in. I show every driver on the track wants to do that, but Truex really enjoying the view he's got under these caution laps. If you're Truex, you just keep on rooting for the Rex. Am I right?
Yeah, I think so. It keeps some of those drivers who need to gain, positions, keeps them buried in the field right here. And Tyler Truex has done a really good job on all the restarts tonight. So, yeah, I think if you're him, I think that you definitely want this thing to continue waving the cautions. I think that he's got enough speed anyway, regardless, to where I think that he's a contender if we even go green. But he's launching so good on the restarts. I think he's perfectly content with how it's been going.
Yeah, I think he would be glad to be in this position for just a little bit longer. Hey, we mentioned Lashinsky having a tough night out there. We mentioned that loose race car spun it a couple times. Finished fourth at Miami. So, he's no slouch of a driver. Shows you just how difficult these short tracks are. And we saw him have to get on the binders there a couple of laps ago, turn the car sideways. But really good week last week. Lashinsky trying to continue that momentum this week. He's got his work cut out for him. Going to be 10th on this restart in that monster jam, number 99, Chris.
Ellis, very quick shout out. Driver of the number 13, Mike Weber, up here into the 5th spot. Great run so far tonight for Mike.
Yeah, Mike Weber, amazing run going so far for Mike. Cannot commend him enough. Determination for sure. Tyler Truex determined on this restart to stick with the lead. Veal's the big winner, Chris, on the restart. He's going to get by Burleson and Smith. It's going to be Veal to the second position. A couple cars up the track further back. Burleson now into the side of Smith. It's a battle for third position. Truex in the wall down the backstretch. It's going to open the door for Veal to come back to the lead. Truex is going to mash that throttle. He's going to get off of turn 4, and he's back in it. Truex back to the lead. Big recovery. It's going to slow down Veal. It's going to open the door for Aaron Smith to slide down to the inside, maybe looking to take second position, that bright yellow number 70. Smith and Veal now. It's a three-way fight for sixth position. Mike Weber to the inside, Burleson in the middle, Chase Leahy up top. They've settled that.
Weber
sideways. He's going to to it. We're still under green. Can he gather it back up? The great run is spoiled by a lap 169 spin by Weber. He holds on to it. The battle still rages for second between Greg Veal and Aaron Smith as they sail off into turn 3 and 4.
Yeah, Veal doing a nice job right here. He got up on the wheel right here on this restart, trying to get after Aaron Smith right here for the second spot. I think it's going to be hard to hold Aaron Smith off. I think he's got to really pinch him. Got to pinch him really hard right here if he's going to hold on to this spot right here. Doing a nice job in that 26. He's got a lot of damage on that right front, but it's not slowing him down at all.
Tyler Truex, the biggest Greg Veal fan right now. Veal wiggles off the corner a little bit, still tries to stick in that throttle to the outside. Not going to be much of a match for Smith here, at least to the entry of turn number 1. Levi Cox now just 2 positions back from this battle after getting many repairs done to that car. Veal stays in the throttle. He is not letting Aaron Smith go, Chris. He's making that outside work. And with just 50 laps or 55 laps and some change left, Veal's kind of got every right to do that. And not saving tires at this point. Greg Veal just trying to hold on to positions. Aaron Smith might have what he takes to get it done this corner, though. I say that, and Veal continues to the outside, Chris, making that outside line look like it's the place to be right now in lap 174.
Yeah, he's just got to hang on his right rear, and as soon as I say that, I think Aaron Smith has cleared him right here in 1 and 2. But all Greg Veal was trying to do was just hang on that right rear, just hang as long as he could on the right rear of Aaron Smith. Maybe hope for a caution right there to maintain that spot. But now Tyler Truex got his eyes in that mirror as that yellow number 7 is coming for him.
And this is going to be a great battle, setting it up with just about 50 laps left. Truex loose off the corner. They head down the back straightaway. That's going to certainly open up the door. He dodges to the left to throw Aaron Smith off the trail a little bit. Smith's going to have to get out of the throttle. He's now getting back into it. He's going to have the inside open. Does Truex try to slam the door for the second corner in a row? The answer this time is no, he can't afford to. Truex up the track, the 70 to the inside. Aaron Smith wants the lead. Tyler Truex doesn't want to give it up.
Yeah, Truex drives it into the corner right here. He's really pinching Aaron Smith. That's what you got to do. You got to make it hard on that guy on the inside. You got to leave him just enough room, but try to pinch him off enough where he can't use all that throttle on corner exit.
They're going to be coming up on a lap car here. Tomlinson in the number 33. His fair share of trouble tonight. Good for him. He gets off the throttle down to the inside to let these leaders go by and settle it amongst themselves. The 69 of Truex still hangs tough on the outside. The 70 of Aaron Smith, your points leader, looking to gain the lead for the first time in nearly 100 laps tonight at Richmond. Just under 50 laps left. The money laps have set in. The final phase of the race has begun. This is it. Drivers can make it on fuel if there is not another caution tonight. You could be seeing the final race for the lead. Ooh. Truex loose off the corner. Aaron Smith wiggles just a little bit as well. Tires starting to fade now. 35 laps into this run. They're beginning to feel the wear of green flag racing here at Richmond. Truex continues on the outside. Chris, this has been a battle we've seen going on for the past 7 or 8 laps. Greg Veal has stayed in the tire tracks of both of these cars. It's a 3-way battle for the lead, and that is legitimate.
Yeah, Greg Veal not letting these guys get away, and as they continue to run side by side and slow each other down, here comes Levi Cox behind them as well in the 4th spot.
Yeah, if you're Levi Cox, second in points right now, you are loving what you're seeing between Truex and Aaron Smith. You couldn't stick a sheet of paper between these drivers. Truex continues to charge to the outside and just give Aaron Smith fits as they head down into turn 1. Now lap 180 of 225. Greg Veal in 3rd position. He's the black and white car in the background. Levi Cox continues to creep closer and closer. Truex struggles with the handling of his car.
He got into him.
Aaron Smith sideways. Truex, Veal, 3 leaders involved in a crash on lap 180. Wow. Chris,
wow,
I can't believe it. Truex tried to fill a hole, and I thought he had done it, and I don't know if Aaron Smith, that car just decelerated for one reason or another, but it allowed the nose of the number 69 just to get underneath that 70.
He was trying to cross over. He was trying to cross over right here. He knew that Aaron Smith was going to be able to roll the bottom and get around him right here. And
was there contact?
Yeah, there was contact. You could see, I think it might have been net code, it looks like, because you could definitely see the attitude of the 70. You could see it bounce like there was some contact, but it might have been net code contact. If there was netcode right there, that is super unfortunate. Watch the 70 right here. You can kind of see how it kind of bounced a little bit right there. You can see right there, Veal into the back of Truex as well. That's unfortunate because obviously there's no intent from Truex at all right there. He's just trying to cross over, get that run right there on corner exit, and through netcode or contact, whatever it was. Unfortunately those guys spin out. We'll go back and we'll actually watch this from the rear bumper of Aaron Smith, so you can kind of see how close it was right here. This is them going down in turn 3 right here. We're watching Greg Veal right here. Here comes Tyler Truex. He's going to try to cross between them right there. And yeah, I just think that there was, either the contact or the netcode brought them together, and unfortunately they spin out right here. So I would say this race isn't over for any of these guys. I don't think the damage is too significant for any of them.
No, your Tyler Truex back to 12th, got some damage repaired. He's coming off the pit road. He's still going to be scored as on the lead lap. Aaron Smith back to 10th, Chris. Greg Veal, the third car involved in that, is in 6th. Levi Cox, I think, the big beneficiary of that, Chris. He's got Joshua Kerner, the one lone car in front of him, and Kerner's on 20-lap old tires right now. So Levi Cox really sitting in the driver's seat. Chase Leahy, Steven Lashinsky, we've seen those two drivers have trouble tonight. Anthony Burleson in 5th position. This is setting up to be a wild one. Let us know who you think is going to win this race. If you're in the chat right now, we're going to give away a 1/64 scale diecast here just shortly. All you have to do is let us know who you're rooting for. Leave some sort of comment. It could be a simple hello. It could be an emoji. Josh Kerner says, no, I'm not. He says he's not. He is not going to win. Wait, he says he's not. You're not on old tires? Or are you saying you're not going to win? I'm not sure what. I just got tires. I'm not showing that. I see 21 laps. I might be. You're in the car. I don't know. I'm not calling you a liar, but I'm just going what my data is telling me right now. So you focus on driving, young man, getting that win, getting that restart from the lead. Josh Kerner says he's got tires. I don't know if I believe him or not, but Levi Cox is in 2nd, Chase Leahy 3rd, Steven Lashinsky 4th, Anthony Burleson 5th. Chris, this is, if you thought this has been a wild race before, it is shaping up to be a wild one here. It's going to be a restart with less than 40 laps to go. It's going to be 39 laps to go on the restart. We're re-racking them here, Chris. Josh Kerner, I believe, has chosen the outside on this restart. It's going to be Levi Cox to the inside. What do you think of that choice?
Well, and I think that Josh Kerner is talking about, like, he just has 21 laps on his tires, and a lot of those have been under yellow here. So I think that he probably feels really good about his position. They are slightly warm, but not a lot here at Richmond. So I think he's going to be all right here as far as pace is concerned.
All right, it's going to be on Josh Kerner to take him to the green flag once they enter the zone. Halfway through, he mashes that throttle. We are back under green flag conditions. Kerner in the lead, Levi Cox second. He's got Lashinsky to his outside. Meanwhile, Chase Leahy wants a piece of the action down there on the inside in that number 34. Greg Veal right behind them. Aaron Smith, Chris, trying to thread his way through traffic. 3 wide, back in 9th position. Car around. We're still under green, I believe.
That's the 33
that was
off of turn
the
2.
33. Nicholas Tomlinson, couple of times tonight. Car is in the wall, Chris. That might have been. That was Robert Walton that time. Robert Walton ran into trouble off of turn 4. We're going to see if we can't find out what happened here. Yeah, 33 had spun way behind them.
Yeah, we'll go back and we'll watch them all right here. Yeah, so on the restart right here. Yeah, so the 33 is kind of...
Oh, Tyler Truex, Chris. He collected Truex in that whole thing.
Oh, man. Well, yeah, we're watching the 33 right here. So, so Tomlinson charging right here into turn 1. I think he just got a little bit sideways right here. In the middle of turns 1 and 2. Gets it around right here. And, yeah, no contact at all. And, Ellis, that was not the caution like you said. It looks like it's going to be with the 66 right here of... Robert Walton. Tyler Truex right behind him right here after that contact and that spin earlier. Yeah, Walton sideways right here off of the corner. Overcorrects, unfortunately, turns the wheels back to the right. And unfortunately for Tyler Truex, just an innocent victim as he gets collected in that deal.
Yeah, puts us under caution now. For the 10th time tonight, it's been a heavy caution race course. We knew that was the possibility coming into our first short track race of the season here at Richmond. Cautions breed cautions. It was in the stories during pre-race, so this should be no surprise. I think some frustrations are mounting between drivers. I'm keeping an eye on the chat just a little bit in the race, and I think some drivers are ready to get this thing done, not happy with that caution coming out on lap 188. But what it's going to do is it's going to create a restart with about 30 laps left, and we've seen green flag runs that long all night long. A couple of times we've hit 30 laps, so this is going to be a test. Can we lock in? Can Josh Kerner, I know he's loving to see these caution laps being run, just like we were talking about Truex enjoying it earlier. Obviously, Truex in a very different position now back there in 12th. But Levi Cox, if you're Levi Cox, how aggressive do you get on these restarts, knowing that our green flag laps have been limited recently?
Yeah, that's the thing is, you got to take your positions when you can get them, because I mean, we saw drivers all over the track right there on that restart, and I just think the aggression is going to continue to go up. And yeah, I think that you got to take the spots when you get them. I think that Joshua Kerner, he might switch it up right here and go back to the bottom, but I think that he also recognizes the fact that, hey, his laps, his tires aren't quite as new as some of these guys who are behind him. And so maybe taking that top is a really good defensive line right here. Maybe he can turn a 5th or 6th place run tonight into a 2nd or 3rd place run, maybe even the win. Who knows? I think that he'll probably take the top again here on this restart. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
A lot is left to be decided here in Richmond. Hey, in the chat, Kenny Storkson just joined in. What's up, Kenny? Appreciate you joining in. If you have not left a comment in the chat to make sure you're entered in to win a 1/64th scale diecast, simply by just saying hi, letting us know who you're going to win. Any comment qualifies you. We're going to do that here before the end of the race, maybe in the next couple of laps. Let's say we're going to do it on our next caution. I hope we don't get one, but we'll give away that diecast if we get another caution or at some point before the end of the race. If you haven't subscribed to the channel and you're watching, make sure to subscribe. You can find a link to enter to win that Dale Jr. autographed 1/24th scale diecast in our chat, as well as the video description. Just follow the directions in that link. And, man, it's lots of opportunities to win tonight on and off the track, Chris. But you mentioned it. Kerner and Cox, they're going to be your 2 front row cars on this restart. Chris, the only car in the top 8 that has a win this season is Aaron Smith. Only car in the top 10 that has a win this season. So lots of hungry drivers out there going to be going for a win. It's going to be 33 laps remaining here on this restart. And it's going to be a wild finish.
Ellis, Aaron Smith is going to have his work cut out for him if he's going to get through this field.
Oh, you're right.
He's fast, but that's going to be hard.
This is going to be the biggest test of the season for Smith. Right now, all eyes are on Kerner, though. He brings them under green for one more time tonight. Kerner to the lead. He's got Chase Leahy biting on his heels there. Meanwhile, Levi Cox dashes to the inside. Kerner up the track. It's Cox in the white number 1 to the inside. They're going to do a drag race down the back straightaway here on lap 193. Cox to the inside, Kerner to the outside. Both cars in the throttle. Leahy in the middle back there. Caution is out once again. That was David Reichman, I believe, in the 6 who ran into trouble.
Yeah, it looks like
Chris, it's been a rough night.
Yeah, he and Mike Weber, looks like they got together right there. And it looks like Weber a little bit
Chris Blassie.
Yeah.
Chris Blassie, I believe, turned Mike Weber and created kind of a chain reaction.
Yeah, we'll watch this from Mike Weber's perspective. We'll kind of look at this from overhead. As they come off of turn 2 right there, it looks like Mike Weber kind of wiggling a little bit off of turn 2, goes down low a little bit, and Chris Blassie's coming with a run right here. Oh yeah, it looked like a little bit of net code. They might have made contact anyway. Tyler Truex just sneaking by. David Reichman gets into the 15 of Chris Blassie, into the outside wall, driver's side first. Yeah, we've had quite this run of cautions here the last little portion of this race, haven't we?
We have had quite a few. Kenny Storks in the chat rooting on for Chase Leahy. So got a Leahy fan in the chat. Chase in third position. No slouch. He's definitely in a position of potentially being able to win this race. This is going to give us a 27 lap restart, I believe. And Chris, we're just kind of waiting for these drivers to find their footing. A lot of aggressive racing going on.
Well, I'll tell you this right now, Ellis. I don't expect us to have fewer cautions over the course of this thing right here. I mean, we're just going to have more. I mean, these drivers are just, I mean, this is short track racing. These restarts are trying to get everything they can get while they're bunched up. You know, we're really keeping our eyes on Greg Veal and Aaron Smith, who we think have a lot of speed. Who were involved in that crash earlier as they battled for the lead with Tyler Truex. Veal's up to the 5th spot. Aaron Smith up to the 6th spot. They did gain some ground right there on that restart, so we'll see if they can gain a couple more here.
Yeah, and the more laps that click away under caution, though, the less opportunity those two cars are going to have to make their way through the field, make green flag passes. And I would imagine we've probably seen the last of the pit stops tonight, even under yellow. I don't think anyone's going to give up or want to give up track position unless they see several drivers in front of them doing the same. And this is going to put Josh Kerner in the lead. Levi Cox will remain second. If you're Kerner, you got to be loving what you're seeing here, Chris. Got to be loving it.
He definitely made a great move by staying out with about 20 lap old tires. A lot of them were under caution as well. So yeah, this has worked out well for him for sure.
And hey, if you are Kenny Storkson right now, you got to be loving what you're seeing because he got in on the chat late, but his number came up. Kenny Storkson, you are the winner of the 1/64th scale diecast. All you need to do is simply email the email address I'm typing in the chat right now. Send us a shipping address. It's going to be ssracingleagues@gmail.com. You can send us your contact information. We'll get that out to you in the mail here. We got a couple we're going to be sending out tomorrow. They should get there next week. You'll be one of those. And we appreciate you tuning in. You got here right at the right time and had a little bit of luck on your side. So we appreciate you joining in. Just shoot us an email with your shipping address. We'll get that out to you here tomorrow afternoon. Lap 198 of 225. We are reaching the climax here of the Richmond Raceway. Race number 4 for the TNT Series. I'm Ellis Thomas, joined by Chris Smith in the booth. Just 27 laps left here. Josh Kerner is your leader. Steven Lashinsky now in, sorry, that was a little screwy. It looks like Lashinsky's in the 4th position.
Yeah, Levi Cox.
As drivers kind of jostling back a little bit on this grid up here, coming to the green flag. Cox is going to be second on the inside. Aaron Smith and Greg Veal, those are cars we're keeping an eye on as well, back in 5th and 6th position, or flip-flop that, 5th and 6th. Kerner gets the lead on the restart. Levi Cox isn't going to let it go that quickly, though. Kerner tries to duck to the inside. Cox is there. No closing the door this time. How far will Cox drive it down into the corner? The answer is very hard. Kerner sideways into the wall, down the back stretch. Kerner's going to give up 4 or 5 positions now. Veal and Leahy try to dash by as well. The 70 of Aaron Smith has Lashinsky to do battle with.
Veal's
there
around.
goes Veal off the corner. This is going to put us under caution, maybe. Can he gather it back up? Can he get it down to the apron? Our race director will allow the race to continue on. It's Cox in the lead. Steven Lashinsky second. Third is Aaron Smith. Joshua Kerner marches it back up to 4th position now. Just 25 laps left here from Richmond. We're still green flag racing. One car separates first from second, and then the same car linked back to 3rd and 4th. Lashinsky showing some speed we haven't seen all night long, Chris.
Yeah, that car has been sideways on corner exit all night. And here he is right here at the end. He's making it count right here at the end. He's looking to the inside. Oh, he's free again.
Goes sideways. Can he hold on to it? No, he's going to put us under caution. Hopefully everyone can stay out of the way. And boy, the commentator's curse strikes again, but I can't say I'm surprised, Chris. That car, as you mentioned, it was fast, but it was loose. He has had that thing dialed towards the loose side all night long. Levi Cox is the lead, Chris, but look who has found his way to second place. Aaron Smith, Mr. Money, and that number 70. And you can see that heart rate clicking up. inching up towards 120. That live heart rate monitor being worn by our second place car, first place in the championship point standings, Aaron Smith. This thing's heating up, Chris. Couple cars coming down pit road. Looks like Lashinsky Veal's going to come down as well.
Yeah, and we've been watching Lashinsky right here come off of turn 4. Yeah, it looks like he just charged the corner a little bit too hard, maybe. Well, he gets it set, so I think it's okay. It just looks like maybe a little bit too much wheel when he puts the throttle back on. Maybe a little bit too hard on the gas right there. And unfortunately, he turns that Monster Jam Ford around. Fortunately for him, though, yeah, like I said, he was really rolling on that restart. He had a lot of speed, rolled up on the back bumper of Levi Cox. Man, the 13 right there. That's Mike Weber. He misses him right there, luckily, and Steven Lashinsky's still got a shot to finish this thing in the top 10.
Yeah, you've only got 11 cars on the lead lap, so even the mistakes that are being made, they're not putting drivers too far back, not out of contention yet for fast cars like Lashinsky there. Chris, one thing I want to bring up that is going to be important here in these closing stages. On average, we have been averaging 4 laps per caution. Now, in the TNT series, there is no green-white checkers. This is not like the real NASCAR series that do green-white checkers. This is essentially, if a caution were to come out with 2 to go, the race would be over. It would finish under caution. I think on a night like tonight, none of us are going to be upset by that with the amount of caution laps that we've run and the likelihood of more happening before the end of this race. It's going to be about 20 laps to go, maybe a tick under 20 on this restart, Chris. This is going to be a wild one. I don't think we've seen the end of the cautions tonight. If you're Aaron Smith, you got to go here, right?
Definitely. Yeah, you got to go when you got a shot. I mean, you just don't know when the caution's going to come out. You just got to assume that it's going to be fairly quickly, the way the trends have been here in the latter stages of this race. And, he's just got to pounce on him right here and try to get after him. I'm going to be curious to see what Levi Cox does here. Does he maybe watch what Joshua Kerner was doing there by holding those guys off on the top? And does he decide to take the outside lane here on this restart? I think that's a tough call. I think I'd be afraid of giving Aaron Smith the top lane here. I think I'd be afraid of giving him a lane where he could possibly roll the center of the corner and get up off of turn 2 with the momentum. I think that I would be tempted to take the top here, and let's see, are we getting the 1 to go this time? We are, and he's taking the top.
He was listening, taking your advice on the outside. He's going to have to push Aaron Smith, pin Aaron Smith down. We've seen him do that tonight. He's been no stranger to pinching that number 70 down right towards that yellow line. Obviously, there's an advantage to be gained from that. You try to force a mistake, but also you run the danger of Aaron Smith maybe getting into your left side. Levi Cox going to have to be careful, very mindful of that here on this restart. Driver's going to lock into the zone one more time. It's going to be 18 laps to go from Richmond as we're half a lap now less away from the restart. It has been a wild night under the lights here in Richmond, Virginia at the 3/4 mile track. That's not going to change. Pace car pulls off. Levi Cox is going to mash that throttle now. Great start. Snookers the crowd. Just a little bit. One car sideways down into the grass. We're going to keep on going, though. Race controller says green, green, green. Aaron Smith to the inside, hard charging down the back stretch. Smith, like he has rocket boosters on, lightning by Levi Cox there to the outside. A couple of cars driving far up the track. Cox gathers it back up. Now he's looking out his windshield towards Aaron Smith. He's got to be careful not to let that driver of the 70 get too far out in front. Meanwhile, Chase Leahy and Joshua Kerner have a battle of their own going. Kerner sideways off the corner. One car in the wall. That might have been Greg Veal back there in the 26 in the Caterpillar car. We keep it going now. Lap 208, 209 now. 16 laps left in Richmond. Aaron Smith is your leader. Levi Cox just about 3 car lengths from the back bumper of Smith. It's going to come down to a game of inches here in the closing stages of this race. Everyone continues single file. Big battle between Steven Lashinsky and Glenn Grimm right now, Chris, going for 7th position between these two. Lashinsky and Grimm, no strangers tonight. Lashinsky's car is loose, though, so Glenn's going to have to be careful.
Yeah, and Aaron Smith, lap 208, the fastest lap of the race. He waited to the end to do it, and he's on it right now as Glenn Grimm running into a little bit of trouble right there off of turn 2, going to lose that spot to Lashinsky.
Chris Blassie underneath Glenn Grimm, trying to take away the 8th position. Grimm dropping a couple spots in the last couple of laps. That's David Reichman and Mike Weber not too far behind them. Back up front, it's now a 4-5 car length lead for Aaron Smith. Levi Cox second. It's about 6 car lengths back to Chase Leahy. In big battle for 4th position, Chris Kerner and Burleson going at it on lap 212.
And Greg Veal right behind those guys. Veal running into a little bit of trouble right there on that restart. Tag the wall right there. Oh, as Burleson's around.
Burleson hard into
man.
the inside wall. We're going to continue under green. Race director does throw the caution flag on lap 212. Not sure what happened to Burleson. That car looked like it just hooked left off of turn 2.
Yeah, super unfortunate because he was running really well tonight, up there in the top 5.
He hasn't been in any trouble all night long. No. This is the first issue we've really seen that 79 car have.
Yeah, you can kind of see what happened right here going back. Yeah, he kind of tagged the apron a little bit. We'll sort of follow along right here. You see the left sides, and at Richmond, it's just, man, the transition just really upsets the car. And so he started fighting loose from that point forward, and that just got him in trouble right there. And he tried to, maybe correct it back around right there, but it wasn't having any of it. And unfortunately, he nosed it in that inside wall. Tough break for Anthony Burleson, who, like you said, hadn't had any trouble all night, was running in the top 5 there at the end of the race.
Run the top 5 at the end of the race, Chris. I think we're going to take just a moment to step away to hear from Sim Wrap Market one final time. It's going to give us a chance to catch our breath and for you to catch your breath in one final dash to the finish here. Smith, Cox, Leahy, Kerner, Veal all going for the win. We'll be right back. We're inching closer towards an incredible finish here from Richmond Raceway for race number 4 of the TNT Series. Points leader Aaron Smith is in the lead. In second place in points, Levi Cox is going to be starting second right behind him, or right to his left or right side, depending on what lane the 70 chooses. Smith in that bright yellow number 70. Levi Cox in the neon white number 1. Leahy, Chase Leahy in third. Josh Kerner in fourth. This, Chris, we were talking about it a moment ago. Really the magic number based on our average, a caution length tonight, is lap 22. Lap 22, if a caution were to come out then or after, we believe this race, for all intents and purposes, would be over and finish under caution. So these drivers now are going to be taking a restart on lap 218. That gives us a margin of about 4 to 5 laps to run before, if a caution were to come out, it would effectively end the race.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
I was going to say, Aaron Smith does take the bottom right here, and I'm really not surprised by that, Ellis. We saw Levi Cox take the top earlier. I'm not surprised to see Aaron Smith take the bottom right here. I don't think he wants to open himself up to maybe contact from the car on the inside sliding up into him. Also, I think that he feels really confident, wants to be on the offense right here on this restart.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. It's going to be probably one chance Cox has to stick to the outside of Aaron Smith. We've seen Smith be able to pull away on the restarts. Will Cox have an answer? Will Chase Leahy have anything for the points leader? We're going to find out. We don't have to wait. Green flag underway. Smith mashes the throttle. He's gotten away the best he has all night. The battle's for second between Leahy and Cox. Leahy dashes to second. He's going to charge hard and drive it in massively into the corner. He's loose off of the corner. Smith to the lead. It's about 3 car lengths back to Leahy. Looks like Cox has his hands full of Greg Veal in third. That's really been the second fastest car all night. Aaron Smith, Chase Leahy is growing smaller and smaller in the mirror for Aaron Smith. 2:19 now, just 6 laps left from Richmond Raceway. Chase Leahy continues to hold station. 4 car lengths back. Levi Cox trying to get back by Greg Veal, who almost collects Chase Leahy. That lead is kind of held station, though, Chris. Chase Leahy looking to get second, his highest finish of the season. We've got about what we've estimated 2 laps left before if a caution were to come out, it would effectively end the race. So right now, Aaron Smith holding his breath that we don't get another caution. They're working on it. Further back, though, I've seen a couple of cars really run into some problems. There are a couple of hornet's nests back there.
Yeah, Greg Veal sideways right there in turns 3 and 4. He gathered it back up, though. Here comes Joshua Kerner to the inside of Levi Cox. He's going to try to grab that 4th spot right there. He's got a lot of pressure from Chris Blassie behind him.
Big pressure from Chris Blassie, who's worked his way back into the 6th position. Kerner holds on to it. We're still green flag racing. There's a yellow. Not sure where the yellow came from. 79 of Burleson, Chris.
Yeah.
Trouble again for Burleson.
Yeah, we'll go back and watch what happened right here. But I think this could end the race, possibly. We'll have to wait and see. Right here.
This will likely be it.
Yeah, into turn 3. It looks like he ran up on the back of David Reichman. It looks like Reichman was a little bit slower than what he anticipated. And, yeah, the 33 of Nicholas Tomlinson just kind of cleans him out as he goes by right there. But, yeah, hate that for Burleson. Yeah, had a really good night going up until these final couple of restarts, unfortunately.
He did have a great night going before the last 2 cautions came out. Chris, this is going to put us on lap 223. I'm not sure if race control might consider making this a very quick caution. We're going to find out pretty quickly if we don't get the 1 to go, I believe.
Well,
if we don't get the 1 to go on lap 224.
I think that we'd have to get the 1 to go next time, and then the green and the white would wave together.
Yep. So we're going to find out pretty quickly. Tyler Truex in the chat on the race saying green-white. I'm not sure if he has any information that he might be hearing over the radios, but we are going to find out this time. We're going to be looking at that pace car in 1st and 2nd with a very close eye. If we see them group up, we'll know that we're going to get a restart. If we don't see them group up, that is going to mean that Aaron Smith is going to be the winner of the 3rd race of his season. 4th race this season, he'll win 3 races, I should say.
Yeah, we see lights are still on that pace car. That could mean, as you said, Ellis, that could mean that that's going to be the end of the race. And I think we are getting confirmation from Josh Kerner, who's on the radio communications in the race, that is going to be all she wrote. Aaron Smith is going to survive. Now he's got to get back around.
Up and down night. Yeah, you never know what could happen.
He's got to not pull a Mark Martin right here and pull in the pits early. So, yeah, hopefully he'll keep on going until that checker flag waves. Yeah, he's got about another lap to get by to win race number 3. Now, Chris, Levi Cox is going to have to settle for 4th tonight. I know that's probably not the night he wants. He's going to lose points on Aaron Smith, who's going to continue to stretch out that points lead. But the thing that every other driver has going for them, and let's talk about this. If you're watching the season, if you've been following each race, don't worry. Smith might get out to a 100-point lead, but the last 3 races of the season, the top 10 points reset, and Smith will only have a 5-point lead over 2nd place in the points. So all the work that he's doing now, it's going to put him in the points lead, but that will likely be erased when we get to the final 3 races of the season. So still plenty at stake. No driver really out of the championship hunt at this point. Just some favorites
being established. And Chris, we mentioned it, Aaron Smith has had an up and down kind of night. He's been as low as 15th. He was involved in a crash just 50 laps ago, yet he worked his way through the field to win race number 4 here on the TNT season from Richmond. Aaron Smith first, Chase Leahy second, Greg Veal finishes out the podium with Levi Cox and Chris Blassie rounding out the top 5. We're going to let Smith do his celebratory donuts, and we'll let the drivers gather on the front stretch. We'll hear from our top 3 here as the fireworks go off in the background. Aaron Smith, race number 4 winner, 3rd on the season.
Yeah, fireworks on the track, fireworks above the track after the race here. So Aaron Smith brings home yet another victory here.
All right, we'll see if we can find Greg Veal in the chat maybe. There we go. We'll pull Greg Veal in. Give us 1 second. Hey, Greg Veal, this is Ellis and Chris in the Slingshot booth. You got a copy? Greg Veal, this is Ellis and Chris in the Slingshot booth. You got a copy? Try it one more time. Greg Veal, it's Ellis and Chris in the Slingshot booth. You got a copy, sir?
Hello.
Oh, there we go. We got you now.
How you doing? Sorry about that.
It's all good. 3rd time is a charm, man. Congratulations. 3rd place finish tonight. This is your 2nd race of the season. Vegas was your only other start. Finished 17th. I think you did quite an improvement on that tonight. Talk to us about what it took to make it through 225 laps and 2 hours of racing here in a night of ups and downs.
Oh, yeah, that was a battle for sure. I mean, definitely did better than Vegas, but I like the short tracks. Richmond's fun. It was a cool combo. You can kind of race side by side for a decent amount of time, try and hold them to the bottom or use them up, you know. That was definitely a good time, and looking forward to see what we can do next week.
Man, we saw you have multiple moments on the track, including a couple of incidents where you incurred some damage. Talk to us about what it took to kind of not count yourself out, not kind of get completely over the situation, and continue to fight back to finish 3rd.
Yeah, I know. We had our moments. There were some some times where I was like, I kind of ruined my own race, but I knew we had a fast car and we can get a decent finish, so I kind of just tried to stay with it and get a decent finish, and it ended up working out for us.
Well, man, congrats on that 3rd place finish. Best run of the season so far. Before we let you go, any shout-outs?
Yeah, I definitely got to thank Chase first and foremost. You know, it's awesome being able to come out here and run with these guys. Aaron's always fast, so it's cool to try and catch him. I got to thank ETTR. You know, I love running with them guys, Tyler, Robbie, Nick, all them. And thank you guys for the broadcast. I look forward to always coming back and watching it, so thank you guys.
Hey, man, we appreciate the sport, and thanks for watching. Have a good night. Go celebrate that podium.
Woo!
All right, that was Greg Veal. We'll bring in Chase Leahy now, our 2nd place finisher.
Chase Leahy, driver of the 34, 2nd place finisher tonight. This is the Slingshot booth. You got a copy.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hey, Chase, man, great run here tonight. We saw you right there at the end. You got up on the wheel on those final restarts. Talk us through your night right here. It seemed like you kind of came out of nowhere there at the end and showed a lot of muscle there in the final few laps.
Yeah, it was kind of a crazy race, you know, from start to finish. I would, get up there and then fall back, get up there and fall back, and then I just happened to be at the right place at the right time at the end and held off everybody for 2nd place, and it was chaotic at times, but it was a blast. I had a really fun time tonight.
Yeah, it looked like a lot of fun. It also looked like the cars were a little bit difficult to handle on cold tires. We saw a lot of cars loose on corner exit. Did you experience a little bit of that on cold tires tonight?
Yeah, at one time I actually self-spun and caused the yellow to come out maybe like halfway through. It was tough, managing cold tires and getting the power down to keep track position. But once they got heated up, they were, pretty firm, pretty good.
Well, man, next week we go to Sonoma, the twists and terms of wine country. You looking forward to getting on the road course next week?
I am. I'm pretty good on intermediates and short tracks, but I feel like road courses are where I shine. So we'll see how we do next week. Definitely looking forward to it.
We'll be looking forward to watching you get out here on the track next week. Before we let you go celebrate the second place finish, any shout outs that you want to give?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure my mom's watching. So if anybody's over the house, I'm sure they're watching along with her. Thank you for the support, and looking forward to next week.
All right, that's Chase Leahy. Congratulations on the second place finish tonight, bud.
Thank you.
All right, now we're going to hear from our winner tonight, Aaron Smith. Hey, Aaron Smith, it is Chris and Ellis in the broadcast booth. You got a copy, sir?
Yeah, I've got you.
Winner, chicken dinner, win number 3 on the season, man. This has become an old hat. It was touch and go there for a few moments during the race. I'm really just curious with a couple of questions for you about that strategy early on. We saw you come drop down to the back, coming down pit road for fuel. What was kind of going through your head in terms of that strategy early on?
Yeah, we weren't using the left side tires all that much, so I figured I would take as little fuel as possible in the final green flag stop, but we never got one, so that was unfortunate. But we had a lot of good racing overall, and I'm glad it worked out for me again.
Talk to us about those moments of really restarting 10th and having to work your way back through the field after that wreck with Truex, where you got turned right at the line. What was that like to fight back? And we were watching that heart rate, man. It was upwards of 120 at certain points. So how tense was it for you inside that cockpit?
It wasn't too bad. Like, I was having fun tonight. It was the car felt really good, so we can really get the car rotated through turns 1 and 2 on cold tires, but some people were rotating it a little too much, so I tried to go for the switchback and almost get wrecked a couple times, but we avoided a lot of incidents, and fortunately it all worked out for everybody. Well, most of us anyway.
Yeah, everyone. Most people made it to the finish line. You made it there first. You got any shout-outs before we let you go celebrate win number 3 on the TNT season?
Yeah, I'd like to thank all the folks at TNT for putting this show on, y'all for broadcasting, all the folks for watching. Looking forward to getting back at it next week.
Don't even remind us next week is a road course. You're a road course pro, so we'll be looking there. But I think we got some other folks that are pretty good at road courses too, so you might have some competition. So practice up, my friend, and we will see you on the other side of the country next week in Sonoma.
And 4, thank you.
Yes, sir. All right, Chris, so we heard from our top 3 there. That's going to shake the points up a little bit. Aaron Smith's going to extend his lead, but we're going to see some others probably creep closer into second place in the points, inching closer towards Levi Cox, who rounded out the top 4 tonight. And before we move on to Sonoma next week, let's look at the finishing order for tonight. Kind of a wild bag of finishers that was just mixing up and changing up throughout the final portion of the race. We talked to the top 3. Levi Cox 4th. Chris Blassie wound up with a 5th place finish. Really kind of cleaned up his race in the second half after running into some trouble the first half. Lashinsky, who was the initiator of multiple cautions with a very loose race car tonight, manages to claw his way back to a 6th place finish. Joshua Kerner has to settle for a 7th place finish after leading the restart with just under 20 to go. Tyler Truex fights back for an 8th place finish. Multiple incidents for Truex tonight. Glenn Grimm, 9th place. Mike Weber, in his first TNT start of the season, finishes in 10th place, Chris.
Yeah, a couple drivers right here. Like you said, Joshua Kerner, hate what happened to him there at the end. Had a good run going tonight. Tyler Truex showed a lot of speed tonight. Glenn Grimm fighting through all the adversity that he had tonight. Seemed like he was caught up in a lot of different incidents, a lot of them not of his own making. David Reichman's going to bring it home in the 11th spot. Anthony Burleson, another driver right here who ran a lot better than what his finishing position is going to show tonight. Nicholas Tomlinson battled through a lot of adversity tonight to bring it home to finish 10 laps down. Gregory Shepsis, we know he had a lot of speed early in the race. He's going to finish 14th. Robert Walton in 15th. Jacob Chase in 16th. Ricky Mandela Sr. finishes in 17th. Michael Bitton in 18th, and Dan Berg is going to round out the field tonight in the 19th position.
Chris, if you thought this week was tough at Richmond, we're headed to our first road course of the season. First right-hand turns coming up next week at Sonoma out on the West Coast. It is going to be a hot one, but it's going to be a wild one. Drivers making those right-hand turns for the first time. Drivers like Aaron Smith, Chase Leahy, as well as a few other names likely to climb to the top of the field early. I'm looking forward to seeing that one. Looking forward to seeing these drivers showcase a little bit more skills, different skills, I should say, with a little bit more technical focus next week at the road course. What are we going to be looking for, Chris?
Well, I think that sometimes you hear Sonoma, as far as like the NASCAR road courses, it is called like the short track of road courses because, you know, like you said, it is a lot more technical than Watkins Glen and Road America and some of the other ones that you go to. A lot of twists and turns, a lot more finesse on the throttle. I think that's going to be the big story is, you know, not burning up those rear tires over the course of the run. So I'm looking forward to seeing these drivers get out on the track. That's one of my favorite road courses to go to. I love racing there, and I love watching races there. So I'm super excited to see these drivers hit the twists and turns of wine country.
Yeah, myself as well, Chris. It's going to be a great weekend out there, a great Thursday night. Next week, Sonoma race number 5 championship battle continues as we inch towards the 3-race playoff. You can join us live next week, 7:45 pre-race, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, green flag. We appreciate everyone joining in the chat tonight, everyone who tuned in. Even if you weren't in the chat, make sure you have subscribed. Make sure you've clicked the link in the description so you can register to win that 1/24th scale autographed Dale Earnhardt Jr. Oreo diecast car will be given away at the end of the season. Lots of opportunities to win. Congratulations to our diecast winner tonight. That was Kenny Storkson. We'll be doing more next week, folks. Have a great week. For Ellis and Chris and Slingshot Racing Media, so long until Sonoma, everybody.